Good morning, Xbox. Welcome, everybody, to a special edition of Good Morning Xbox in the late afternoon. Yes, what a fantastic Sunday it's been so far. If you are an Xbox fan, it is time to get hyped. It is time to feel excited. We just saw one incredible show. That's probably going to already give away exactly how I feel about it. We're going to find out how our amazing panel feels about it. Let's introduce them in order as we kind of scroll to my, I guess it's right on my screen, left, depending on which way you look at it. Let's start with Mr. Axel, 1324. Axel, how are you today?
Dude, this has been one of the greatest E3s I've ever seen. I haven't seen too many, right? I've only started watching E3 about, 5-6 years ago, and this tops them all by far. I mean, it's not even close. This is the E3 we have been waiting for. This is what we've been doing. And you know what, guys? It's time for everybody to get their Mountain Dews, get your Master Chief, start pouring out some double XP on there because it's time to level up. This is when it all happens, guys. Let's get it.
All right.
I always knew Master Chief was empty-headed. Just something about it.
Oh man, Cortana was the brains. Everybody knows it.
You're the guy who put Cortana out.
Oh yeah.
Replace him. All right, let's get over to Coolcat Terri. She will have her spotlight on the indie scene a little bit later in the show, but that's about as much as we're going to have for our regular segments as we try to just keep this rolling along. A lot of stuff to get into. I'll stop babbling. So Terri, how are you?
I'm doing fantastic. I am super excited for all the stuff that we're going to talk about today. It was like everyone was saying, it was phenomenal. I was fangirling. You guys don't even realize, I was giddy. So I'm ready for this.
Oh, we all ready. We're going to address that chat too in just a second. We got to scroll down to Mr. Cerebral Paul, who's been, he is a celebrity on the panel now. This dude's been in featured in how many articles now, Paul? Like 3, 4?
Actually 5, I think 5, and then a couple more coming up. So
there you go. So welcome to our cerebral celebrity this morning, Cerebral Paul. Hope you enjoyed the show today, Paul. It was a fun one.
Oh yeah, I had a blast, and it's been a long weekend for me. So yeah, if I fall asleep toward the end there, just nudge me. Just have Eternal Shaddai elbow me,
There you go. Give an elbow to Tanner Shaddai. There you go. Representing the man.
Wait, I gotta say this just because he said what's up, Joe Dunmore. There he is. Joe Dunmore's in the room.
Nice. Welcome, Joe. Eternal Shaddai, how you been, man? I know you're a little under the weather today, but that show had to perk you up just a bit, didn't it?
Just a little bit. Are you probably gonna sound kind of stuffy because I'm still stuffy? But it was interesting. That's pretty much what I could say. It's pretty much interesting. A little bit some downward, it's kind of a little bit of a down, but at the same time, very entertaining.
Oh, it sounds like he's got a little disappointment in his voice, and we're going to find out exactly what it was when throughout the show. And last but not least, a man who's been making a lot of podcast rounds himself this week. He's also become a podcast celeb in just a short period of time. Mr. Scrubners, what's happening, brother?
Oh, man, I'm glad to be here. Glad to be able to talk about these games. One of the best E3 Xbox showcases I've seen. So let's get into it.
Oh, yeah, man. It's going to be good. Quick shout out to our amazing chat right off the bat. And, of course, Caper Grant, Axel, everybody who was playing last night, community game night. The Halo thing that we had was great. With a lot of fun. We had a really good turnout last night. And wasn't looking like it at the start. And we were kind of like, wow, where is everybody? No hype for Halo or what? And then all of a sudden they showed up and it was good. Let's quickly just give a shout out and a big welcome to the people who are being here. You know what? We appreciate your chat more than ever today because we know how many podcasts are going right now. And the fact that you come out here and spend even a minute with us means the world to us. So hopefully, we can pay you guys back in the long haul for being dedicated supporters. Chase Jones, welcome to the show. I know Chase was over in Boom 6 chat. It was a great show. Who else we got going down here? We've got, like I said, Caper Grant is in the house. We've got, scrolling down, Joe Dunmore. Joe Dunmore's here. We got
KJ's
our Rob
from last night.
Yeah, shout out to Joe. We had a talk.
KJ's here. Our Rob took everybody to school on Halo last night. I don't know what kind of Halo crack he was smoking, but he was just picking people off left, right, and center.
I call hacks.
Oh my god, man, crazy. Sonic and Knuckles 2K21. Sathius is here. Young Sideburns is in the house. Oh, that's KJ, right? I forgot. Yes, there you go. There we go. I think we've caught up with everybody so far. So let's get right into it, guys. Let's kind of save our overall impressions for the end of the show. Let's kind of start breaking it down game by game, what we saw. I mean, the flow was absolutely impressive today, but it started out with the one, the only God Howard. At least that's what people call him nowadays. He comes out and he unveils a game that we weren't even sure 100% that we'd see, but we saw at least a glimpse of it, and we do have a release date. That is Starfield, slated for November 2022, I think it was stated.
Yep,
so
11/11/22.
That's right, up on the screen. Who wants to take the floor? Do we want to go in order, or does people just want to jump in? Whoever. Like, the thing is, too, today, if we mention a game and you just really didn't care for it, or it's just not your bag, we'll just kind of move it along. We don't need to kind of chirp about stuff, but we'll get hyped on the ones that you really are excited for. So, who wants to take the Starfield hype?
I'll start.
Yeah, go ahead, Axel.
But before I start, I need Scrub Nurse to say the word exclusive.
Xbox exclusive.
That's right. We all guessed it. Everything from Bethesda going forward is going to be exclusive, starting with Starfield. It looked good. It looked real good. I rewatched the trailer in 4K on my big screen after the show to make sure I wasn't missing anything. And it didn't show much gameplay. Once again, CGI trailer, but it has over a year to show us some gameplay. Mm-hmm. And I think it might just be Fallout in space, but I'm kind of hoping it's a little more than Fallout. You know, it's really hard to create a space epic, but I have faith in God Howard. He hasn't let us down yet, and I don't think he will. And that's all I got on that one. Just try to move it quick.
Yeah, I think it was great. Also, that they chose to do Starfield and start out saying Xbox exclusive, but it was also good to have Todd Howard going out first on the Xbox and Bethesda show, showing the continuity between they're not two companies anymore. They're all one. And to have them first instead of having Phil up there, because everybody knows Phil's going to be there, I think that was very important to show that they are all working together. And yeah, it was a little teaser, but them saying exclusive and then going to other games, I think that was one of the most important things being said.
You have your mute on, Newf.
There
yes,
you go. Take it away, Terry.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, yeah, we couldn't see too much since it was CGI, but for what we did see, it does look pretty cool. I am a big fan of space and like sci-fi kind of stuff. So to be able, I really need that gameplay, so I know if it's going to be a game for me or not. You know, is it going to be? Are we just going to be flying around in space, or are we going to be landing and have on foot stuff? Like, I don't really know what's going on because they haven't shown us really much of anything. So I need that clarification. But otherwise, it still looks interesting. And I was actually surprised to see them start the show with Starfield, because that's like, you know, one of the top, you know, games from Bethesda that people are you know, excited for. So to start the show on a high versus, you know, saving for the end was very surprising. So very well done.
Should I, Paul?
I mean, you know me. I've been Starfield hyped all along, and I was surprised they opened the show with it. But like you said, it shows that they're all one unit now. It's not, you know, here's Phil, and then by the way, here's Todd and his little thing. What I saw looked really good, and because I know that it's basically going to be like Fallout in space, I have, you know, they showed more than just flying around in space. So I'm looking forward to it. It looks like it's going to be very story driven, which is what I like. You know, now how open world the open space is going to be, we'll find out later, I'm sure. But it looks like it's going to be a very big game. In fact, it may be so big it's overwhelming. Like Oblivion can be overwhelming when you first jump onto the map and all that stuff lights up and you go, "Holy crap!" You know. So we'll see where it goes, but I'm looking forward to it.
Absolutely. How about you? Should I any love for Starfield? Did we lose Shaddai? Because it looks like his screen is frozen. I think
Yeah,
we
looks
may
like
have
he's
lost.
frozen.
I think we might have
Yeah.
lost him. He's literally lost in space. How about that?
Either that or
I
he's
sent
having.
us a message in the DMs. He's
and-
definitely frozen up.
Okay, all right.
Mhm.
He's having some technical issues, guys. So I will just finish up by saying this. Yes, Starfield, it was a bit of an odd selection to start the show. I think that was kind of a surprise, but seeing Todd Howard come out on the stage was really cool. It was just, like I said, pretty much a pre-rendered scene, but, you know, I think it's going to be a massive game for Xbox. And the two things they drove home here that I really like was, one, as Scrub mentioned, exclusive. You know, they definitely got that out of the way because that's been on everybody's mind. Is it going to be native to Xbox and PC, or is this going to come to PlayStation? And it definitely sounds like it is not now. So you can put that one to bed. It's time to go out and buy an Xbox if you want to play these games or play on your PC or wherever.
I do want to mention that some of the games they announced it was initially exclusive. So some of the stuff is going to be timed exclusive.
Yeah, launch exclusives. Yeah.
Yeah. This one just said exclusive, though, right? There was no launch.
Yeah.
This one is a console exclusive, Xbox exclusive only. In fact, most of the really big titles were. So.
That's right. That's right. And the other thing was something that we've been crying about on several podcasts now, and that is day and dates finally. Like actually getting some sense of anticipation for when it's going to show up. And yeah, I love seeing that and how they integrated that into the actual trailer. 11/11/22, guys, next year. So that's fantastic. What's going on? Spider-Man is in the chat. How you doing? Lethal Terminus, welcome. I'm glad you could be here. And it looks like, speaking of being here, Eternal Shaddai is back from that stasis that he was just in.
Yeah.
And how do you feel about Starfield?
It was just the first thing that popped into my mind was pretty much Outer Worlds. I'm like, even though that is not made by, you know, Bethesda, but what I wasn't expecting that to start. I really wasn't. It was more between probably mid to the end of the show. But I know I can see that it's gonna be a really huge game, especially when it comes to exploration. That's the first thing that popped into my mind. It's gonna be very interesting on what the story is gonna be about, because they only show a CGI, but it's a Todd, it's Todd Howard's, game. It's gonna be a very very good game. I don't have so much to say about Starfield because the CGI doesn't say that much. It's just pretty much what are we going to expect. But I know it's going to be a really big exploration, probably from planet to planet and whatever he's going to bring to the table for that game. But I just wanted to see more from Starfield.
Absolutely. Let's move along to another game that starts with the initial S, and that is Stalker 2. This is the second one of the show, and this was definitely a showpiece title for the Xbox. Boy, if your eyeballs did not open up after this one, I don't know what will. And we didn't even see this in a glorious 4K presentation. So Stalker 2, we've known about this game for a while, but now we finally got what looks like a concrete glimpse of it. As I just mentioned, it looks absolutely stunning. Who is excited about this game? Looks like it's set in Chernobyl, isn't it? So, yeah, it looks really cool. Who wants to take the floor on Stalker?
I'll take that one.
Bye. Go ahead.
I play Metro, but not the Exodus. I need to finish that one. When I play Metro, man, I love that survival game when I first played. It was you had to make a lot of decisions, and we already know about Metro. But when I saw Stalker 2, I'm like, if I like Metro, I'm gonna like Stalker 2. It has a lot of things to do. I never played Stalker, but from what I saw, I got so really hyped up for that game because, like I said, I like Metro. Anything that is survival, especially in that type of way, I'm all in for that one, and I can't wait. What else are they gonna show for that game?
Nice. Who wants to take it next?
Yeah, I'm definitely hyped about it. I was overwhelmingly getting those Metro Exodus vibes. So I played that game and I was excited about it. One of the two things that kind of made me even more excited was the way they were changing the gun setups while you were moving through the scene. You didn't have to back out, go to a menu to put on a scope. to add some bayonet or whatever onto your gun. You just keep rolling and moving in that way, unless that's some cutscene, but I doubt it. They also announced that it was 4K. So those
and you
things,
could actually tell. You could actually tell that it was 4K.
Yeah. So them announcing stuff like that, these details, instead of finding out afterwards, you put the game out, put the trailer, and then a couple of days later, you start getting all the information on FPS and what's going to be the fidelity of these games. I'm glad Xbox just sit there, boom, here it is. Here's the information. Let's move to the next one. So Stalker 2 looks pretty good.
Nice. Well said. Who wants to take the next one on this one?
It looks good to me. I'll try it. It's one of those games that, like Metro Exodus, I tried it. I really couldn't do parts of it that well. So, I mean, but like I said, and I was saying this the whole time I was watching it, I'm glad that's coming to Game Pass because at least I can then try it before I go in. Nope.
Yeah. Yep. But visually, do you think this was a pretty good representation of what to expect out of Xbox?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I think everything they showed today was a great representation of what the Xbox can do.
Yeah,
and the big one's going to come later, and the big one's going to come later in our discussion about what.
Yes, it will. We got a lot of big ones. I'm sure Terri gets her fair share of stalkers. So how many? How did this game make you feel?
Hashtag we want Terri.
I mean, it's not my kind of game. It does look really cool, but yeah, no, I don't play that kind of stuff. I'm not really into like the spooky ass kind of games.
Not your kind of stalker.
No, I thought it was really cool though. I thought it was really cool though. Before he brought out I don't remember what you call it. The thing that reads like the radiation. That one creature thing kind of walked into like that liquid, and then he exploded. I was like, "Whoa!" I was not expecting him to walk into like that water.
Antenna radar. The antenna radar.
I don't remember what you call the like radiation things or whatever, but like he just pulled it out before you walked across, and I was like, "Okay, well, don't go standing where that guy did," But it looks cool. But yeah, no, it's not my thing. I do think it's cool though for people who have played the Stalker series. One of the cool things they do is you have the option to either have the game fully in Russian or to switch it over to an English dub. So that's a cool little feature for people who actually want to have that true immersion and feel like you're actually in Russia and have that and have that going on. That's pretty cool. Otherwise, yeah, it's not my kind of a game, but it looks cool.
Well, I'm totally with Shaddai, man. The moment I saw this game, I was like, man, this gives me the Exodus, what do you call it? The Metro Exodus vibes. Obviously your survival horror shooter kind of game. Definitely very interesting. Some weird little device in his hands. He's tossing these like little bait sticks or whatever the heck they were. It definitely looks really cool. I want to go back and watch the higher quality videos, but even in a crappy resolution, I watch most of these videos, and today you can tell what definitely has that next gen look and feel to it, sort of thing. So, and I think they even said like, was it next gen only for this game? I think I might be wrong on that, but
no, I'm not sure if they were saying at the end. I want to say if it's going to be in Game Pass, I don't think it's going to be. But they did say timed exclusive, so I do know that.
Yeah, timed exclusive on that one.
Yes, I think it's
only
3 months.
only 3 of the games we saw are not going to be in Game Pass. By the way.
Yeah, that's right.
Yes.
Yeah, that's an incredible number. And we'll talk more about it as we get to the end of the show. Yeah, so Stalker 2, guys, looks like a really, really cool game. Kind of sticking with that theme on shooters, Back 4 Blood. We kind of knew this before the show, but Back 4 Blood, day 1 coming to Game Pass. October the 12th is the release date for that, so it is right around the corner. It looks absolutely phenomenal. If you're a fan of Left 4 Dead franchise, you're probably going to fall in love with this one right away because it is made by many of the developers that they had before who made up Turtle Rock Studios, and it looked pretty cool. So he wants to have their say first on Back 4 Blood.
I'll just go real quick because I'm having coughing issues right now. I thought it looked really good. I will try it. I was never good at Left 4 Dead and stuff, but with the right group that's willing to understand that I suck at these kind of games, because it looked really exciting. I will definitely try to play it. Yeah.
Well, those games honestly are more about communication than it is about just being a great shooter. You know what I mean? Like that's half the battle. If you got a good team to communicate, you can all carry the load in those games.
Yeah. With me, it tends to be don't go this way. It hurts.
Yeah, avoid that big ugly thing, Paul. He's not there to hug you.
Yeah.
Well, he could be. Be like that liquor one from Left 4 Dead, put his tongue around your neck and drag you into the woods. Not the kind of kinkiness I was hoping for, but yeah. Oh, man. Oh, shit. I got to remember I'm not on Gaming After Dark. Who else wants to talk about Back for Blood? I mean, this was really no surprise, but I mean, it was good to see it on the stage, and we saw a little bit more, and of course, getting a release date in Game Pass. So,
yeah, the release having the release date, I did like the fact that they had the PvP, and then in the PvP, you play humans versus zombies. So that's going to give a little switch up in the genre of PvP. Playing the bad guy, so we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, I've been on the cold side for Back for Blood for a long time because Left 4 Dead and Left 4 Dead 2 are probably two of the best co-op shooters, team shooters ever made. It punished you if you weren't a team. And I'm thinking, man, I don't know if this thing can live up to it. I just don't get it. But after today's trailer, I'll tell you what, I'm warming up. I'm getting excited. I'm like, oh, that looks cool. Oh yeah, I can see myself fighting that with some people or with some randoms as long as we all stick together. You know, if it can do what Left 4 Dead did and encourage a good crew synergy and do it well and do it in action, because man, it looked jam packed with action, and some of those zombie, I don't know if we're going to call them zombies or monsters. They look like zombies. They look amazing. The fact that they're scaling walls and they're scaling them not in an obscene pace. Everything looks like it's going at the pace it should. It looks awesome. So I am definitely warming up for Back for Blood. I'm warming up.
Just the different enemies that they show that that is very, it's like very different. It's very different. When I saw it, yeah, I had that Left 4 Dead vibe, but at the same time, I'm like, I hope it doesn't end up like World War Z. It's another clone. But when I saw all those different enemies, and first of all, now we get to fight bigger enemies, something that never happened in Left 4 Dead. It was more like a mid-boss type and whatever. But this time it's like, I guess you get different tiers. I rather say, why I say tiers is like you get this little mini boss, and then you get this big one, which I never saw it, that he grabbed a player up in the air while the other one was puking at him, like tag teaming. And I'm like, wow, I never seen that on Left 4 Dead. I'm like, that's really cool. And then at the end, we saw this big monster trying to look into the players. I'm like, if we get to, go against a monster like that big, it's going to take a while. So yeah, that's something that they add something different to. I pretty much, like Left 4 Dead, but I'm looking forward to it. I really am.
Absolutely. Any further thoughts? Who else hadn't had a say on this one yet? Feel free to chime in, guys. Like I said, we're not necessarily going in that order. So, like, if you got something to say, and if you don't, just say, "Hey, man, I don't have much to say about it," or "It's not my bag, baby." For me personally, I love Left 4 Dead, so I'm super excited about this game. And you know what? Game Pass is the perfect platform for it because, nothing can kill the hype of a game faster than coming out to an audience that basically gets left behind within its first, 2 to 3 weeks on the market, where it just fails to find an audience because it gets lost in the shuffle of, every other game out there. So now there's really very little excuse not to play it, not to pick it up and give it a go. People will probably enjoy it, those who like that style of game. The fact that it's co-op is a huge bonus for me. And like I said, if you find the right team, those games are absolutely amazing to play. They're challenging, but they're fun and they're freaky. And yeah, they're just awesome. And the mechanics of Left 4 Dead were so good.
And because it's on Game Pass, you have a decent player base from the get-go to pick from.
That's right.
A lot of your friends will be able to get it, even if they weren't intending to. You can say, "Hey, let's jump on and give this a shot."
Amen. Absolutely. All right, let's move along to the next game that we saw. And this one was a big surprise. And this was one of the few times today that we saw more or less a CGI rendered presentation of a game, which tells us that obviously it's still a little ways out. I don't even know if we had a date for this one, other than perhaps it was 2022. I can't recall, but we're talking about Contraband. It is coming to Game Pass on day one, and the interesting here was it's Xbox Game Studios in association with Avalanche Software. If you guys are not familiar, Avalanche has made some really amazing games over the last few years. Avalanche has been a big part of the Disney and Infinity games that came out. Of course, they did the Mad Max. They've done the Just Cause series. The list goes on, but chances are, if you probably played some games by Avalanche and absolutely love them to death. So that's what gets me excited here. We didn't see a whole lot, but we do know it's based on. If you watched how the screen scrolled from left to right on this one, it had like photos that were hanging on a little line, and it said 4-player co-op, open world. So that one we know again. Who wants to jump in on this? Avalanche definitely must have somebody excited here.
I'll chime in on this one a little bit, since we really don't know very much on this one, so they didn't show much. But just based on what like the still images and the name, it's called Contraband. We saw a guy working on his vehicle. That makes it, to me, for what I'm expecting is maybe we're like drug runners or something, and we have to work together to get contraband, over a border or something. That's what I'm going to go with for now until they actually give us something. But based on the name and the fact that he's working on a car and it was all filled with like swamp stuff, he's taking those back roads for a reason. So, I mean, that's what I'm going to just go with for now until they prove me wrong. So, but I mean, it could be pretty fun now.
So Chase Jones says in the chat, Terry, you think it's going to be very similar to Just Cause, but more of a co-op shooter this time?
No? I hope it's not like Just Cause. I hope it's not.
Yeah, that like when I first saw the all the different pictures scrolling on the top, it made me think of Coco for a little bit. But but it looks by the trailer, just by a little teaser trailer, it looks like it has a little whimsical side to it. Like I said, 4-player co-op, open world, which is, the big thing, everybody's doing right now. So I won't get into it too much because we really don't know much.
Right. That's right.
Kind of like with Starfield. Like I said, big thing is we're knowing that it's Game Pass. Maybe this is where folks are getting a lot of these rumors about Xbox maybe buying Avalanche, or the rumor might still be true. It just hasn't finished yet. So we shall see. Keep your eyes open.
There you go. Who else wants to take a crack at some Contraband?
To me, it looked, Contraband, obviously, you're either playing a smuggler, because in one of the photos they scrolled past the map of what they were going to use, their escape route and their goal. So maybe it's a goal-based, smuggling style game is what it looks like to me. And that would be kind of cool, if it takes you to smuggling routes. Like if I get to drive in tunnels like the Fast and Furious movies when they were driving with the Mexican cartels in those tunnels, that would be cool. But because they were also working on a vehicle, but I'm sure it also has some sort of first person or third person view objective where you each got to do your own part. It would be really awesome if it was like a coordinated, I don't know, thieving game where somebody has to handle the alarm, somebody has to handle this. We need a driver, we need an inside job person, all this stuff. It would be awesome if it was something like that.
Or
you know what? It reminds me of Italian Job. While one of them is smuggling, while the other one's undercover.
Exactly. Yes.
I'm wondering if maybe the gameplay, like I'm hoping it's kind of not, because I wasn't a fan of it personally, but I'm wondering if they might do something kind of similar to Payday, So we'll see.
Yeah, Payday, you definitely had to have the right group with you.
Yeah, I get the feeling with this one, it's going to use a lot of what they did right with Just Cause, but again, it'll be open world 4-player co-op, and this may not even have a story mode. This could potentially just be a big multiplayer thing, because the fact that, like I said, Avalanche Software is not owned by Microsoft, at least not at this point. There could be something in the works there, which is a possibility, or they, like I said, they were just a studio with the available manpower to do something. out there, or perhaps they proposed an idea to Microsoft, and Microsoft said, "Sure, let's go with it. Let's get that content on there, right?" So it'll be interesting to see what happens to this one. I don't even know if we know it's Game Pass, but there was no date. Was there a 2021 or 22 on this one? Nothing, right?
No date.
Nothing. Okay.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, and this was one of the few times today where we just saw a pre-rendered cutscene, basically, that was advertised in the game, not even really like coming from the game itself. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there. Now, our next game, if we're able to move right along, this one has been out a while, but I don't think anybody really saw this content coming. It's definitely one of the most fitting DLCs or content packs ever for gaming. But we're talking about Sea of Thieves, Pirates of the Caribbean content dropping June 22nd. Well, that's like in a couple days, guys. Jack Sparrow and company. Yes, Davy Jones, Jack Sparrow. It's free. Unbelievable. I know for me, I haven't played Sea of Thieves in a while, but boy, that was a fantastic reason to jump right back in. So who wants to take it away? I know there's some Sea of Thieves fans.
I know everybody is.
Yeah,
I will take it right here. I don't think there's a bigger Sea of Thieves fan in this panel other than me. Well, I don't know. I could be wrong, but I'm just thinking that, okay? But yeah, this trailer had me grinning from ear to ear because this is what we've been waiting for in Sea of Thieves, because this is the kind of whimsical adventure we've been wanting. It's going to be so awesome to take on Queen Anne's Revenge, start shooting, because it has the front cannons, the side cannons, and best of all, we're not just going to be killing skeletons. They finally got more enemy types. We've been saying in Sea of Thieves that they need like crab people or something, right? And they're going to get those coral infected monsters now in Sea of Thieves. And it's just going to be fun. It looks like you're going to have to travel through a portal to load up the Disney portion of it. But yeah, I'm going to definitely jump in my sloop. Whether anybody wants to come with me, that's fine. If you don't, whatever. I'll sail alone. I don't care. I'm going in. Me and Jack Sparrow are going to take on Davy Jones and do whatever it is Sea of Thieves tells us, And it's so funny because Sea of Thieves has a lot of, they showed a lot of cinematic style in the trailer.
Yeah.
But none of that actually happens in Sea of Thieves. Sea of Thieves is more like a progressive story because it's telling it to 4 different players all at the same time from different point of views. So all those cutscenes are actually in game. So that's going to be even better. So yeah, I love Sea of Thieves. I love Pirates of the Caribbean. This is what we've been waiting for. If my boat has to turn upside down to enter this world, even better. Even better. I hope so.
And it sure sounded like they brought back the original voice actors. I could be wrong, but
that was Johnny Depp. That was definitely Johnny Depp.
That was Johnny Depp.
Which is interesting because Disney fired him, didn't they?
No, they brought him back, but that's another story with Amber Heard and all that stuff. Yeah. Somebody was lying.
They saw money, so they brought him back.
They're like, okay, cha-ching. All right, it works.
Before we get to the next opinion on that, let's just catch up with the super chat real quick, because Caper Grant, he drops $5 in there and says, "Can't wait for Halo Infinite community game nights." We're right with you, Caper. It's going to be amazing. It's so good. And we'll talk about Halo and the multiplayer a little bit later in the show. Dreadpool is in the house. What's going on, brother? Thanks for being here. I see Tryhard Fan is here as well. We got a great crew here today, more than I think any of us on this panel would have expected. So thank you guys so much. You greatly appreciate it. Terry, finish your thoughts. I know you want to jump in here on this one.
I just wanted to say that I wasn't a fan of Sea of Thieves. I played it at launch, and at launch, everybody knows it was kind of rough. It was rough. It didn't really have anything to do. There was nothing to do. You kind of just explored or, delivered chickens, so there was like nothing to do. But, seeing how they've been adding a lot of content over like the last couple of years it's been out. And now with this, I think I might get back into it. And Axel, if you need somebody, you can, I would be all for, joining you, since I don't have anybody to play the game. So if we want to, there we go. See, and Shaddai's in it. So there you go. We can make a crew.
Let's do it. Let's sell the Good Morning Xbox right out into the ocean.
And getting bit by the Megalodon, like always.
I hear a few more pirates on this panel.
Oh man, if we could do it in character voices, that would be even funnier.
Yeah. I'll bring Cletus on board. How about that?
Oh wow.
Hey,
boy.
does somebody get the F-word house? Yeah.
Yeah, they have grog in Sea of Thieves. You could just be drinking the whole time.
No, pretty much.
He's in
True
the bar.
story.
He hasn't left there
True
yet.
story. One time we were sailing a crew of 4, and we were in a storm, and I was trying to catch a very specific fish because certain fish are only available in certain waters.
Mhm.
So it's a storm fish. And I had caught one, and I was reeling it in, and we suddenly started getting attacked. And everybody's all like, "Oh, hey, you gotta help us! You gotta help us!" I'm like, "No, I'm busy getting this fish. I'm not letting them go because no matter what, I want this rare fish." We ended up sinking and losing everything, but I'm like, I have no regrets. I got my fish. That's the whole thing about Sea of Thieves. It's just silly the whole time. You can't take it too serious.
So keep Axel away from the fishing poles, please.
And that's all I do in that game. I'm not a big Sea of Thieves fan. I mean, I'll probably check it out. But
Yeah, awesome. Who else got a few thoughts to say on this one?
That was the best collaboration I ever seen. For me, I wasn't expecting that. I thought it was going to be one of those regular Disney games or anything like that. But when I saw that it was coming to Sea of Thieves for free and includes a new, like they like to call it, an epic adventure, my goodness, I'm like, I wasn't expecting this. I really want to go back to Sea of Thieves because I'm with Axel and Terry. It was bare bone until pretty much they started adding some new content. But this one will put a lot of people back to Sea of Thieves for that one. The question is, how much content are they going to add for that one? Because sometimes we get hyped for that. I'm not trying to be negative about this one, but sometimes we get hyped for that one, but then again, it becomes flat. But I hope that it brings a lot of content for that one because we're talking about here Pirates of the Caribbean. So add anything from that one to I haven't seen Pirates of the Caribbean for quite some time, but I know it's not going to be Davy Jones only. It could be Calypso. It could be something else. So I'm looking forward to that. If you want to add all 3 movies into that game is going to be phenomenal. I mean, like really, really good. So I'm looking forward to that content for Sea of Thieves.
Well, hey, Xbox royalty departments, send some coin my way because I'm pretty sure, as a matter of fact, I'm 100% sure that I actually said this in a podcast, and I'm going to fucking track it down. Oh, sorry, I dropped an F-bomb. I'm going to track that clip down on one of those podcasts, and I'm going to prove it to you that I talked about Sea of Thieves, and they should have Pirates of the Caribbean content in there. And sure enough, it came out, and I was just like, "Wow, they must be picking my brains." I mean, it's a no-brainer anyway. It wouldn't take a genius to go, this game and that content go hand in hand.
It probably took a pretty good-sized pocketbook, though.
Yeah.
No, but that's what I'm saying. How long did it took for them to do that? Also, because like Skrupner said, whatever happened between Disney and Johnny Depp, so we don't know how long did that took until this actually happened.
Yeah, well, we don't know that Johnny Depp is directly involved.
No.
Remember, Disney owns the characters.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, he had to have voiced it at some point, and I know
it depends. It depends.
Unless it's a really good voice actor.
If it's his voice.
Yeah.
2, if it's stuff they pulled from his from film footage, then no, they don't need him.
Now, if it is his voice, they have had some stipulations where it was he's not fired anymore. The cases that were brought up against him, all that stuff has been thrown out, and it's almost turning on the other actress who said something and was with the accusations. Because if you know about the story, she's been kicked off of Aquaman too. So. So that's even giving you more information on that. But yeah, it's a big deal. Xbox dealing with Disney, letting them bring those characters over. And we know that Disney will work with Xbox or PlayStation because, Disney did have a game division at one point, and they kind of pushed that to the side. So yeah, this is big to be able to use those characters, play a part in the game, and also bring people who were playing Sea of Thieves back into it, get those numbers back up. Folks who might have been on Game Pass who don't have it anymore might come back in just to play this new stuff and to bring new people that never played this game before because, oh, I heard it was buggy or I didn't have fun. This might bring in more people. So I think this is a huge win.
Yeah, I'll agree. Chase Jones, the lines that were used in that trailer of Jack Sparrow were definitely not pulled straight from the movie. So they either had, like I said, they have a very accurate voice actor, or they did bring Johnny Depp in to reprise the role as well as the other actors from it. And, you know, you normally sometimes those games, you often get one actor to come back and do a script, but it's not often you get like a lot of them to come back to do it. It's always, you know, one or the other. So I think it might really be them, but I guess we'll find out here pretty soon. Chase says it's not Johnny Depp.
Sounded he's going off of Google, but I mean, what does Google really know this early? You know, they don't.
Well, because if they did IMDb list when they do video game voicing,
absolutely. Yeah, and if anybody ever wants to know how much Xbox loves their players and is putting them at the center and wanting you to get your value, I mean, just remember, this is a DLC from Disney. Greedy, money-hungry Disney, and it's free for everybody. There's 20 million sailors right now, or pirates, 20 million pirates in Sea of Thieves that are already going to experience this. Imagine how many more they're about to get, and Xbox fronted all that coin for you. So
and that's the one thing that that kind of got me nervous is the fact that it is a free update. You know, how substantial is it going to be? Is it going to be one of those things where you hop in and you fly through it in 3 hours, or is it going to be a nice big area where you can, you know, go back and have a lot of fun with it over and over again?
See, that's the reason why I said that. I'm not trying to be negative about it, but sometimes it only lasts so much, and then after that, is nothing else. What else to say?
Sure. So the Tall Tales in Sea of Thieves, the original ones, you could grind through them in about 5 to 10 hours, depending on how you went. The newer Tall Tales, they had multiple paths, so you had to replay them over and over and over again to experience it. You know, you could go left, right, whatever. And so they could put in some of that replay value, like, okay, this time I need to take this path, or this time I want to take this path. So they are expanding that storytelling a lot.
So Jay's saying they can't afford them, dude. It's Microsoft. They can afford any actor on the planet. They want to pay them the money.
No, they have, but it has to be feasibly worth it for them to do so. Johnny doesn't work.
Well, yeah. You don't want to pay $20 million and you don't think it's really going to pay off in the long haul, you know. So, either which way, guys. Regardless, it's Pirates of the Caribbean. You know, in Sea of Thieves, it was basically a match made in heaven, as they'd often say, and you know. Like I said, that's the only question. Is it going to be substantial DLC or something that's just a quick in and out kind of deal, just to kind of hook people, reel them in? Either which way, it's kind of a win here. But that was definitely a surprising moment from today's show. I don't think we kind of expected to see maybe something Sea of Thieves related, but I don't think we expected that. So, all right, let's move right along. Let's get into the next one. This is where I found today's show had a little bit of a lull. Now, you guys might disagree with me, but this is where I just found there was a few games here in this next 4 or 5, which we won't have to talk too long on, that just kind of seemed to had a little bit of a lull in the show, and this might have been one of the few lulls we had all day. So the next one is Yakuza Like a Dragon coming to Game Pass, and guess what? Not Game Pass next week or next month. It's in Game Pass today. So that was pretty epic, and that was a pretty funny trailer. Who's played this game, and how big is that of a deal to get this? Like, I mean, this is still a new game, and it's now in Game Pass.
I'll be grabbing it. That's all I gotta say. I've been looking forward to it.
You should. I feel that people have been sleeping on Yakuza Like a Dragon for a while. If you've seen some of my tweets, I tweet out about Yakuza, and I say, don't sleep on this. Stop it. The music is awesome. The gameplay is awesome. The story is long. I am 80 hours deep into Yakuza, and I'm nowhere near finished yet. So it is a long RPG. And there's just so much to do, so many things, so many ways to do it, characters to unlock, and
I gotta ask, is it still like the old games where it's watch a movie for 20 minutes, do a couple of things for 5 minutes, watch a movie for 20 minutes? Because that's why I have trouble getting through the other one, just because if I'm staring at the screen for so long that my controller shuts off, then okay. That's a little bit long of a story time to be sitting there.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie to you, Paul. There are some 20-25 minute cutscenes in Yakuza.
Oh my God.
There are, but then it's followed by about 3 hours of gameplay. So I feel that it's very well balanced. But yeah, I would say out of the 80 hours, I've probably spent 10 of them watching cutscenes. But they're hilarious. Oh my God, they're so funny.
I guess that's the other thing.
The most serious, funny game I've ever played.
If they're engaging and funny is one thing, but the early Yakuza games were just straightforward. It was like watching a Japanese drama. It's like, oh my God, come on. Story, let's go.
No, it has its, oh my God, it has this music that turns on that's like supposed to be like this sentimental music. And it's like straight out of like a telenovela. I mean, it's hilarious. I mean, you just got to keep in mind that it's got a serious story, but it presents it in the funniest way.
Well, but that's okay because that'll keep me engaged. Before I was literally falling asleep in front of my screen, waiting for it to wake me up and tell me, okay, you got to go fight somebody.
So for you, the game was called Yasnooza.
Yeah, that's
it. Man, great.
It's great. And it's so funny, like the summons. So you do summons in Yakuza, and the way he summons is he grabs his cell phone and he dials someone, and he's like, it's time to call a friend, and then your summon shows up, and the things you can summon are hilarious too. It's not like this epic thing like Final Fantasy VII style. No, it's hilarious. It's good. It's good. Stop sleeping on this guy. Play it. It's good.
Awesome.
Anybody else? I guess I'll grab my controller and start to download while we're talking.
Yeah, who else is excited about that? I mean, like I said, this is one of the small announcements, but still, it was kind of significant, right? Pretty big game, fairly new. And here it is. It's in Game Pass. So like another benefit of being a Game Pass subscriber. Hate to say that over and over and over again, but today,
especially you, it's funny to hear you saying it over and over again.
Today nailed it home.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you some thoughts after the show when we get to the wrap up. But yeah, anybody else want a couple cents worth on this one or move on?
I think it's a big deal. One, for the fact that this game is in Game Pass, and then they said it is available now, but also the fact that you got all the other ones in there, so it's starting a trend. Obviously, you had some of the Yakuza games, and then for this game, who's only been up for a couple of months, to now come in Xbox Game Pass 2, the devs, the companies are seeing the reaction to the game, see how much money that they're making, see how much and how many eyes are coming to the game. I think this is just great for future developers and companies to see what these devs are doing and what these companies are seeing, the benefits of Game Pass, and all you're going to see is just more people follow suit as the years go by.
And that, not for nothing, but that rumor that supposedly Microsoft is going to buy Sega, that's another thing that will stamp on it if they keep putting Sega games in there. So that might pop up probably later on or anything like that, if that actually happens.
I think this is part of the testing the waters phase, is to see what kind of traction they get on these titles, and if the numbers are significant, they might go, yeah, you know what, this is beneficial for us in the long haul for both parties. So
because didn't they show not too long ago, I think after the Phil and Satya talking, didn't they posted some numbers about their devs getting, about putting their product inside Game Pass. So I think, I don't know, that's pretty good for Game Pass. That's pretty good.
Shout out to Triard Fan in the chat. If you guys ever have questions about Yakuza games, he's definitely got to talk to you about them because he really enjoys them. And as he said in the chat, he's been seeing a lot of Xbox fans for the first time getting into the Yakuza games because they obviously were, native to PlayStation for many, many years. And it's only now in the last little while we've started to get, if you're an Xbox exclusive owner, have had the chance to go and try the series. So cool stuff right there. Definitely a bonus, guys, your Game Pass. So let's move along to the next one now. And the next one we kind of last week we saw sort of the unveiling of Battlefield 6. Some people obviously very, very excited, like Chase Jones in the chat, to get their hands on this game. Other people a little bit more reserved, or perhaps even a little bit disappointed, as we found out there is no campaign in Battlefield 6. It looks like there's 7 multiplayer maps from the get-go. Now, the game is more expansive. It looks amazing. It's probably the best and biggest scale Battlefield we've ever seen from a multiplayer perspective, but still, you're going to pay full price for a game that, well, essentially is now missing content. Again, I'm not here to tell you how to spend your money. If you love Battlefield and you love multiplayer and you feel that every minute spent in there is worth it, then by all means, go and buy it. But for me, it's a pass. We saw gameplay today, a little bit from the actual game itself, and not just CGI rendered scenes. It definitely looked very impressive. And it is not coming to Game Pass. This is one of the few games that was not announced for it today. So how do you guys just feel about the latest that you've seen from Battlefield 6?
I think it was awesome. And if anybody has watched the Xbox showcase and haven't had a chance to go back and look at it 4K, I have it on my TV right now. It's night and day. Whatever you thought looked good at 1080p, it looks ridiculous in 4K. Battlefield looks amazing. It's going to be trying to be a competitor for COD, and for them to be on Xbox Showcase, I think what they were trying to do is, since PlayStation is not having E3, I think what they wanted to do is have some more gameplay, even though they had their own event, so more people had their eyes on it. Because, of course, yeah, people saw their own EA event with Battlefield, but everybody didn't watch that, but they know all eyes are going to be on E3. So I think that was something big to have on your Xbox Showcase. And there are still a lot of gamers who don't get too in depth, or they'll know about a game, but when they see at the bottom or at the end of a commercial Xbox or whatever, they just automatically assume it's only on Xbox and they move. So the more that we can get these third-party games and stuff under an Xbox umbrella, even if it's just a showcase, just to show it on there, helps us as far as mind share as well. Yeah, it won't have a story, so there's going to be your hit or miss, but they're adding grappling hooks in there, especially on the next-gen consoles or the newer consoles. We're having 128 people on the screen up to, so I think they did a great job with this gameplay trailer.
Okay. Any further thoughts on that? On Battlefield 2042?
I am so on the fence on this game, whether to buy it or not. It looks amazing. I want to play it.
I'm buying.
I want to buy it, but I am so on the fence because multiplayer only games just, the collector in me keeps telling myself, you spend whatever money you're going to spend on this, and it will never be worth that ever again. Mm-hmm. Right. And that's just the way it is. Destiny's that way. Sea of Thieves is that way. Multiplayer only games just don't hold their value over time.
Your car is that way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But you get more. But I don't collect cars.
More use out of the car. You get more use out of the car.
Yeah, that's beyond my collection scope. Yeah. No, but this was a gameplay trailer, and when I saw that tank crush that car like a pancake, I was like, oh my god, that destruction engine that only Battlefield can do looks great. Mm-hmm. There was so much chaos happening on the screen all at once. Mm-hmm. I was just like, good God, this looks like a war zone. Like it's finally looking like a true war zone. Right. I mean, unfortunately, they need weather effects to make it look that way, but that's exactly how chaotic.
Somebody shot a quad into a helicopter there at one time.
Yeah, I started having PTSD flashes, if you will, Mm-hmm. But I mean, it looks good, and this is probably, and I'm more of a Battlefield fan than I am a Call of Duty fan, mainly because I believe it's not as much of a Twitch shooter as Call of Duty is. Mm-hmm. It's got its own take on it. But I'm so on the fence, just like I'm this close to pulling the trigger, but I'm just like, $70 because that's the version I want. I want the Xbox Series X version. Wow. But then I'm like, wait a minute, I have a PC. I could just buy the $60 version and throw it on my 4K monitor.
Yeah, $100 version. Get it for 7 days early.
Yeah, no, I'm not paying $30 for 7 days. Yeah, no thanks.
All right. So let me just say it. I doubt it's going to be a COD killer because one, COD multiplayer is free.
Right.
Halo Infinite's going to play more into that because their multiplayer is going to be free.
Right.
I watched it through FanFest. So I'm actually going to get a 50% off coupon. If I wanted to use it on this game, I could. But I don't think I'm going to play it enough to even warrant $35. Because not only is it the $70 or 35 if you get 50% off, it's the season pass, it's the microtransactions, it's the stuff, So this is not going to be a cheap game for those who want to play.
Right.
Yeah.
See, I'm with Paul because that was my first reaction when they announced it for the first time. I thought it was gonna be a free to play, so it could compete with Warzone, and plus because of the multiplayer of Halo being free also. But by announcing that it was gonna be a $70, my first reaction that I have was when Call of Duty Black Ops 4 was the same way. Look at what happened. I'm not gonna say it's gonna happen the same way, depending on on the fan base of Battlefield. But the thing is, it all depends about the content that they're gonna put into that. But if you're trying to compete with other multiplayer that are becoming pretty much free to play, and for that one to be $70, that's gonna be a hard pill to swallow, especially for that one. And now. At the same time, probably I'm gonna let's see on the reaction on this one. But if you have Apex and now this one to pretty much trying to charge people, something is wrong, and it's under EA also. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So something is kind of, I don't know what happened there, but if you want to go with the big guns, there's a possibility. Well, it's gonna take a major hit.
I'm push back just a little bit.
All right.
Just being the first person shooter guy all the time on here. So I put every year at least weeks of time on Call of Duty. As far as Battlefield, I love Battlefield, but the last Battlefield that has really captured the hearts and minds of most Battlefield players was 4. 1 was okay. 5 was okay. I don't think that it's not going to capture the mind share of Call of Duty, but all the other games you named, you're talking about Battle Royale. Okay. So
it's more of a free to play type.
It's free to play
because it actually looked like some type of Battle Royale.
Yeah,
it's free to look at it because that's like Conquest.
It's free to play for Battle Royale. All the other games you play is free to play for Battle Royale. Call of Duty regular multiplayer is not free. So that's what I'm saying. So the people who pay, remember when COD had one of their not Xbox, but one of their last games come out, it didn't have a campaign. Everybody complained about it.
Black Ops 4.
When that came out, guess what? Everybody was playing it except the 20 people who was so adamant that they weren't going to get it online. Everybody else still played that game. And then
I must have been one of the other 4 people.
I never did.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I played it, but it's like they lack more content to it because they started adding things that
what you say, but like you just said, you still played it, and
I played it. Yeah, correct.
And that's what's going to happen with Battlefield. It's not going to have the same number base as COD, but if the number base and the player base is still bigger than what they have for 1 and 5, it's going to be a boon to them. Also, if you do play Call of Duty or first person shooter religiously, you never only pay $60. You pay $60 to begin the game. You're going to pay your battle passes, which they come out in a whole year's time. They might have 7 or 8, which are $10 to $20 a piece. Then you're going to have all your skins and all your gun types, just like they have on Fortnite. Years before, I've easily spent $300 something on COD before because that's what I like. So it doesn't bother me. Now, people who just don't do that all day, every day with their friends, putting 3 and 4 hours all the time, you might feel different. But for the hardcore, this is not going to hurt them as much. I want the single player game, but it's not going to hurt me as much.
Well, let me real quick get my attitude. As long as there's people that are willing to pay $70 for a multiplayer game, that's also going to dish them for a Game Pass and also going to, or for for a pass and all that. It's not going to change. Okay,
Yeah, that's right.
companies like EA and Activision are not going to change because like PT Barnum said, there's a sucker born every minute, and these companies know that. As long as you guys are willing to sit there and pay for
Mhm.
Right.
it. Until the community
Oh.
stands up and says, "Screw it, no more, go away," it's not going to change.
Well, it's like
And
paying $10 for a skin in Fortnite nowadays. It's like
yeah, I know.
ridiculous.
It's
One little
No,
skin, and they keep selling them because again, suckers
People
keep
buy
buying
it.
them.
well,
Right.
what's funny is, and EA knows this because EA, they didn't do microtransactions for Fallen Jedi and all that because they knew if they started doing that for Fallen Jedi, they were going to take a lashing. But for this group, there's an audience out there that's going to say, "Hey, no problem. Here's my wallet. Here's my credit card. Just start cashing that sucker in." You know. So, I mean,
Yeah.
I don't get it because this could change, but we got to be the ones to change it.
Yeah, and we're going to try to roll this back and save that discussion for another podcast because we're into
Yeah,
a
I'm
totally
just saying.
different
I'm just
topic now.
saying. Yeah, I know.
Totally.
I'm
No,
sorry.
I totally know what you're saying, and I respect everybody's. Nobody's really wrong or right. As I always said, it's your money. Do what you like
Yeah.
with it. But at the end of the day, you just got to remember. I'm just going to say it's like, yeah, you're $70 and you feel it's worth it for you because you play Battlefield, say multiplayer. That's all you play. So I get that point. The other side of the coin is that you made the point, Paul, is you send the wrong message to the publisher. You send the message that we're going to keep taking less and less and less in our games because they don't feel like, for them, they don't feel that single player is valuable enough for them to worth spending the money in their thing. Even though this is EA now, one of the biggest publishers, one of the richest publishers in the world, which has a very capable developer, and they just don't want to tell a story. You know what happened with the last couple of Battlefields is the fact that they stopped making an actual campaign and they made segregated. They just put enough in the game to shut the single player fans up. That was all it was.
Yeah,
Well,
exactly.
there's a campaign here, but it wasn't really a campaign because if you look at Battlefield 3 and 4, which had fully fledged campaigns, which were actually good, by the way, which in my opinion,
Yes.
Call of Duty campaigns, but again, everybody's just like, oh well, they're not good. Nobody plays. That's BS. People do play them, and a lot of people love them. But we didn't want that. Personally, I didn't like that style. Oh, here's a level here. Here's a level because what's the problem with that? You don't get invested with the characters of the story because they don't really have one. It's just like we're going to recreate a similar scenario from a World War II mission, throw you into it, and you don't really care about the characters because there's no continuity between the first hour and the 7th hour where you're playing different people and different stuff. But anyway, I'm on a ramble and a rant. But yeah, but we'll do that another day. But yeah, Battlefield 6, there you go. No Game Pass announced here, so some fans will take an L. Lots of people saying it was coming to Game Pass day one. It wasn't me, but we know some people were. The next game is called 12 Minutes, and this one should not take us 12 minutes to discuss. Nice little game with some real big time, I think, talent behind it in terms of I guess it's the voice actors and stuff. This is the one that had an interesting stylized graphic. Who wants to win in 12 minutes? Anybody here excited about that one?
I am. I like that style of game. It's a one-room game, and you got to solve a mystery. I can all for it.
So like your real life then.
Pretty much, yeah.
Oh
I
man,
couldn't help that.
and Malik from Xbox. He always trips over Willem Dafoe's name. He's like Willem Dafoe. Yeah, it was awesome. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I really am.
Yeah, Terry. It looked like a game perhaps that would be interesting. You sort of an indie vibe to it.
I mean, I like the indie vibe, but I'm just not sure about the game itself. If it's, I don't understand it quite yet. I don't know if it's something where you just kind of replay the thing over and over and it changes. Because if that's it, then I have no interest. Because whenever you have like a TV show and they always have that day repeat episode, it's always my most hated episode of the entire show. So I don't want to play a game like that. It'll drive me nuts.
Man, we are so opposite, Terry. I am looking forward to 12 minutes. The kind of conversations you can have and unlock based on the previous conversations that you remember in a 12-minute game loop. It's definitely not going to be an action-heavy game. It's going to be more of a conversational game, more of a puzzle solver.
Right.
How fast can you stop the 12-minute loop? And the point of the game, I guess, is to stop getting murdered for you and your wife. To stop this killer. So that's going to be pretty awesome to me. And
yeah,
I just
it seems kind of like that
wait.
Tom Cruise movie from a couple years ago.
Yeah, what was it? Live, Die, Repeat. or whatever it
Yeah.
was.
Yeah.
Yes,
Groundhog
day
Day,
after
basically.
tomorrow.
Day after
Yeah.
tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was both. Yeah, they had to change it.
Yes. 12 minutes. Can't wait. I'm actually looking forward to it.
I like a good story and I love puzzles, but yeah, if it's a lot of them repeating the story and then you have a little change here and there, I'm just gonna get so annoyed. You know? How many times am I gonna hear this dialogue again? Oh yeah, 50 more times? Yeah, no, I'm good. I'm done.
Terry, have you ever dealt with children?
Yes.
I know.
That's why I have none.
Me too.
When you watch the same movie 400 times in a day.
Yeah, how does that stick to the refrigerator? It's a magnet. 5 minutes later, but how? Because it's a magnet.
And they want to watch Dora the Explorer, the same episode they've been watching every day for a year. So it's just,
my husband does that. My husband, he plays. He'll pick a song and he'll play it on loop for the entire day, and it's usually a sea shanty, and he'll play it on loop all day.
Wow.
Great. No, but I'm looking forward to 12 minutes, man. I am intrigued with the possibilities if they do it right.
Yeah.
The idea
my wife's
of
usually looking forward to 12 minutes too.
The idea of a locked room mystery that you basically have to solve from within. Basically,
caught
it's a
that.
room game, from what I can tell. It all takes place in that one room, so that's going to make it very interesting. So,
I don't know, was your connection or my connection? But it's getting to get a little of that break up there.
I don't know. I should.
Are we
Am I
still-
better
are we
now?
still
Call's coming in clear on my side.
Yeah, might be on my internet. Like I said, wouldn't be surprised with everything the way it's going. All right.
Canadian Moose Internet breakdown. Yeah.
that's right. He's got to run back and forth. The connection, yes. 12 minutes, like I said, it was, definitely not one of the ones that you really stood out in the show, but hey, you're going to have those games too. And it is coming to Game Pass on the day and date. So there you go, 12 minutes. And it's slated for August 19th for those interested. Another one coming to Game Pass on August the 25th. Hopefully you don't mind this one. Pardon the pun. From the brilliant minds of Tim Schafer and Double Fine. Yes, Double Fine, if you guys missed the boat or were not paying attention, they have been purchased by Microsoft and part of Xbox Game Studios. And Psychonauts 2 is coming out August 25th with Game Pass. This is a game I am really excited about. This is a day one purchase for me, guaranteed. I like the first game and definitely can't wait to jump into this one. This had all sorts of bizarre, really cool stuff in it. I'm really excited about it. I think it's going to be cool. I like the weird, wacky stuff that Double Fine is always known for. And, between those guys and people like Tim Burton, they just have that style. That's something intriguing about it. So I'm really excited for Psychonauts 2. How about anybody else? Like I said, it's a day one for me. I don't know what else to say other than the game looks amazing. It could potentially be one of Xbox's best games this year. And like I said, it's right around the corner. Who wants to take it on this one?
I'll play it there. I've said what I had to say.
I never played the first one, so I can't really say. But it looks really amazing, though.
Shaddai, choke yourself right now for saying what you just said.
No, because it's like I seen it. Okay, I seen it in the past, in the OG Xbox. But it was one of those games that never caught my attention until probably later, until now. I'm like, oh, I see. So yeah.
Well, now it's on Game Pass, and I have a chance to play it before this one hits Game Pass. So you can get caught up.
That is true.
Yeah, the game looks pretty good. I'm excited for it. It has this little quirkiness and the visuals look very good. So I'm excited. Jack Black has something to do with it. I'm loving it. So let's go.
Yeah. I'm on Newf's side. I'm sorry, Newf. Go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, I was just gonna say a lot of people did miss out because it wasn't a game that came out on the original Xbox and the PS2. And it was just one of those games that slid under the radar. It had a small publisher at the time, so it was a very limited run game. And I think that was a part of the problem. It is one of those that was really good, but just, and for some people, they just couldn't get into it because it wasn't a Mario and it wasn't a Sonic style game. It was, a completely new IP. Again, back in the day, that would have been the perfect game for Game Pass back on the original Xbox era because you're trying to introduce something new. And that's how a lot of new games were back in those days. A lot of stuff fell through because they couldn't reach an audience. They didn't have the publicity, the promotion, the money, and that's what they did. It fell through the cracks until now. People are going back and going, what is this cool little game that I missed out on? And I think it's great. But anyway, go ahead, Axel.
Yeah, this is one of those games that developed a cult following. Tim Schafer could not get this game published by anybody. Nobody would take him in on it because the original Psychonauts did not do too good. It released on Steam and it still didn't do good. I bought it on Steam, so I bought this game twice already. And yeah, it just nobody seems to do it because the advertising has just not been there. So he went to Kickstarter, and it was funded by Kickstarter, and then he finally got a publisher. And then, of course, now Xbox came in. Psychonauts 2 was supposed to release last year. And as you know, Xbox got a hold of Double Fine in 2018, I believe. And so they put a 2-year delay on this to make it bigger and badder. And Tim Schafer didn't have to worry about money anymore, even though, it's being published technically by another publisher. I don't even know who they are. But, Xbox is one of those, okay, this is one of our games now. We need to make it bigger and badder because you're representing us. So even if they're not publishing it, they're definitely funding it. And I can't wait to see just Tim Schafer unleashed in this game. Just looking at it, looking at the art, looking at the crazy angles you're walking, the upside down, right side up, sideways, going through the mind, and all the mind puns are back, classic Tim Schafer, all the mind puns are back. I just can't wait. This game is going to be fun.
It's just the art design of that game is really gorgeous. I'm like, he's very,
Yeah. The original Psychonauts still holds as far as art is concerned. Psychonauts 2 looks almost like Psychonauts 1. It holds. This type of art style definitely is there.
It's funny because during Boom's podcast, during the live show, which I was part of, somebody on the panel goes, "Oh, this game looks as good. It looks as good, if not better, than Ratchet and Clank: A Rift Apart." And the thing is, no, I would say no. But here's the other thing, and then somebody else quickly pointed out, dude, it's got a completely different art style. It's kind of hard to compare one to the other. Yes, they're both sort of platformy games, but that's where the similarities end. It's just like, you can't compare abstract art, for example, to realism art. You know what I mean? And that's kind of what you got there. And you're going to see that comparison a lot. Oh, these Xbox guys now, they're comparing Psychonauts to Ratchet and Clank. No, it's like, to me, Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart is an astonishing looking game. It looks like a freaking, like a Pixar movie come to life on your game screen, or as close as we've probably ever seen. But the Psychonauts is not going for that. It's completely different, and people need to understand. But they do look really good. And if you go back and see some of the early stuff that we saw of Psychonauts 2 compared to where it's at now, it's like night and day. This game has improved so much.
It's way up there. I can't wait. And the Game Pass is coming again to save the day. But I am probably going to buy this one. Just because I am a fan of Psychonauts, and Tim Schafer does a lot of cool games. Like, anybody ever played the game Stacked on the Xbox 360?
No.
That one is also Tim Schafer.
Double Fine as well, yeah.
Double Fine has made some of the most creative gameplay games I've ever played, and I'm just expecting the best.
The last one that I played from Double Fine was rad. It was punishing. It was really punishing, that game.
Get good.
Okay.
No, rad was hard.
So
I'm excited for it.
Nice. Any further thoughts on this one, or we'll move right along?
I just want to say, I think that it might have been a little ahead of its time when the first one came out. And I think that the game looked was why it didn't succeed, because it didn't look like the other games that were out. And the best way I can look at for the art style is it reminds me of a lot of like classic, like 90s Nickelodeon. Nickelodeon was really weird, back in the 90s. So I feel like they were kind of going up that vibe a little bit.
That's a great point. It does have that vibe now that you mention it. Yes. Nickelodeon, Tim Schafer, Tim Burton, it's a lot of, a lot of that sort of weird, wacky,
a lot of Tims.
And a lot of Tims in there, yes. I guess. Any Tims on the panel? They're all kind of weird, I guess. I don't know. The only Tim I know that comes to the chat is Timothy Dixon. He's not here today. Kind of disappointing. All right. The next two, then this is where the show took the Bethesda, come over to the Bethesda stage after this, and we saw Pete Hines come out and basically talked about two games that are already out, but obviously the expansions and stuff are coming to Game Pass day one. So we're going to lump these together, and then you guys can discuss them, because I have really nothing to say on them. Neither one I'm interested in. So Bethesda comes out with Fallout 76, Steel Rain, and Expeditions: The Pit. So one expansion coming out here like right away, and another one coming in 2022, and then Elder Scrolls Online Blackwood coming to Game Pass. So who has thoughts on these particular games? How do you feel about them? That sort of thing.
I'll go first.
Yeah,
go right ahead.
Next.
Hard pass.
Oh yeah. Well, what I got out of it was, at least, if nothing else, Doom Eternal is going to have its optimized upgrade for Series X and S. And they're going to have a performance mode, as well as you're going to be able to get 120 frames per second. Anybody who's played Doom, you're moving around, you got to punch, shoot, jump, spin around, duck and dodge and throw, and to be able to play that at 120 frames per second is going to be awesome. Give the game more smoother gameplay, a better look and feel. So I thought that was big. As far as him announcing with Skyrim, it could just be PR speak, saying it's one of their biggest games on Game Pass right now. Is also kind of pointing a little bit toward its Game Pass actually working and pushing these games forward, because we all know Fallout 76 had a lot of its problems. So Elder Scrolls Online has been a big game forever and a day. So just having all this stuff in Game Pass is just a plus for gamers. So that's what I got out of it.
Well, and for me, Elder Scrolls Online and Fallout 76, both of them, especially Fallout 76, it looks like this add-on adds more of an actual quest type of quality, and not just run around and kill stuff. Because the weakness it had at first was there were no NPCs. Seriously, it was like you followed around these recordings to figure out what the hell you were supposed to do, and they seem to have gotten over that. It actually looks like it's still. I may load it up again and try it again. I know when they added the battle royale, the nuclear winter stuff, that was fun. When you could set off a nuclear bomb, and it was really interesting to watch that go off. They did a great job with that. It's never been enough to hold me in the game, but that's just because I've never had somebody I could go in and play with. And the build your own safe houses and whatever never fully worked. You'd log in one day, all your stuff would be gone. You're like, oh crap, and you'd have to basically start over again.
Right.
So I mean, we'll see, but
So what happens to the Elder Scrolls games now, Paul? They come into Game Pass. Does that mean you'll still have to pay the subscription fee inside of the subscription fee, or
no, I don't think so. I think they're getting away from that. If it's coming to Game Pass, that means the base game will be free, and because I actually reinstalled it, the base game will be free, and then you'll just pay for the add-ons as you want to play them. And it'll probably just be like a lot of those games that are like that, where you can play a base version of it. Even World of Warcraft is like that. You can play the really base the vanilla version for no cost. But if you want to start doing the other stuff, the bigger stuff, you have to pay for the add-ons.
Yeah. Shane Tomlin brings up a great point in the chat. He says he plays Fallout 76 on Xbox and PC. Great game, now loads of missions. And there is another game that had a very similar evolution as Sea of Thieves, which started out very buggy, started out very sort of blank, and now over time has really come into its own and still has a big loyal fan base. And the fact that they're supporting it just goes to tell you that people haven't really given up on it, which is great for the game, great for the vision. So that's cool stuff. Matthew Dillon, what's going on? Welcome to the podcast. Glad you could be here. I think this might be your first time I've seen you. My good buddy Seamus Kelly in the chat. We got Mike Mullis hanging out with us from the original Next Level Gaming podcast.
Mike Mullet.
Yeah, Mike Mullet.
Mike.
Great people. Chase Jones still with us, man. First guy in the chat today. Awesome to have Chase here. Spider-Man, my longest serving follower, is here. As always, you can always count on Spider-Man to swing on in here. That's good stuff. Yeah, and then they talked about, of course, like the upgrades coming to Doom, right? Doom Eternal, the new 4K, like up to 120 frames a second, stuff like that. So yeah, how did you guys feel about that stuff?
Ray tracing. This is the whole reason I got this Xbox. I can't wait to see Doom Eternal with ray tracing on. I just, it almost won Game of the Year. For some people, it was Game of the Year. This is a great game, and I can't wait to see it the way it was meant to be played at 60 frames per second with ray tracing.
I can't play it now, and I can't see myself dying any slower at 4K 120. So yeah, as much as it looks good, it's a game I can't, because like he said, you have to do the running, jumping, diving, shooting, and I can't do all that fast enough to avoid getting any further in the game.
Paul's basically motto, my deaths look all the same in 4K and 120 frames a second.
But with ray tracing on.
They look much smoother with the ray tracing, though. It's really
yes.
You can see the reflection of the blood splatter as I fly past the window. Yeah,
you can see those bullet holes now where I got riddled on that last one. Oh man, crazy stuff there, man. Good stuff.
It makes that game where it's a showpiece for the Xbox Series X, and I think that's a great thing. We need more games like that.
I just wanted to add in, like, I don't really care too much about the Doom thing. That's not my thing. But for Fallout 76, I didn't get into that one either. But then, of course, I did play it when it was earlier on, and it was a hot mess. So I kind of left it behind. This new pit expansion, for those who are hardcore Fallout fans, I could be wrong, but I think that's actually from Fallout 3. So they're bringing that back. So that's kind of cool for people who are into that kind of thing. And then for Elder Scrolls, though, I'm excited. I'm a big fan of Elder Scrolls Online. I put over 1,000 hours on it on PC, and then I went ahead and got it again for Xbox and put another couple hundred hours into it. The game it's very expansive. I still haven't played all of the new DLC expansions because it's an MMO. MMOs kind of take over your life. It's like they take so much time to play, and then it's like you have to be there. You can't just I'm going to play this a little bit and play something else like you can with a shooter. You can bounce around. You can't bounce around on an MMO. Either you're going to dedicate, or you're just going to fall behind, and that's it. So there's a lot going on there. So it's exciting that they're still adding stuff to it, because that is a really, really good MMO. So it's fantastic. But yeah, I'm sorry.
It didn't start out that way, but now it is.
By the way, just curious.
I loved it when it first launched. I absolutely loved it when it first launched.
It was extremely glitchy when it first launched, but yeah, I got better.
I honestly, I did not have issues at launch when I played it. So it's hit or miss, I guess, on that one, because I didn't have any issues.
Who's manscaping during the show here? Just kidding. All fun. Great takes on that. Any further points before we move it right along to the next one? The next one was interesting. Definitely have to get Terri's thoughts on it for sure, because I know she's going to chime in. Move it along.
Move along.
Destin Laguerre said just announced that Starfield was all in-game and not a CGI trailer. Well, interesting. Well, definitely looked pretty good from what we saw of it, but yeah.
Yeah, it also said Creation Engine 2. So they finally upgraded that thing. Finally.
Yep.
Yeah. Cool. All right. So the next game is time to have a party. It's Party Animals. This one kind of come out of the left field and gave me sort of that Bug Snacks vibe for some odd reason. I know on Boom Show, somebody said this game kind of remind you of Fall Guys in a way. And I guess, it does have a Fall Guys feel, but the game is very, 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 very cute. Looks really fun. And obviously as well, and you got to applaud, this is where a lot of people go off the rails and go, why is Xbox showing this crap? I'm not into it. You have to remember, not every Xbox fan is 30, 40, 50 or likes shooting games and RPGs. You got to have something for everybody. That's called diversity, and it needs to be in games as well. And yes, it's going to be at the show. Sure, a lot of us would probably look at that trailer and go, it's not for me. I get it. But you know what? It really did look like a fun little game, and it's coming to Game Pass, something that I can't wait to actually try out. I think if you got kids in your house or you're just looking for a great family experience, that just might fit the bill. So take it away. Who wants to talk about Party Animals?
Forget kids. There's a group of us that play games like this, like Human Fall Flat and stuff, that we immediately messaged each other that we're all in for this. We're gonna be beating the crap out of each other just for fun, Yes.
I have something to say about that one. A hard pass for me too.
Oh, what? All right, I'm actually super excited to play it. It looks amazing. I love the cuteness factor on it, because it's just it's like I wanted to feel bad because I saw this cute cat laying face down getting electrocuted, and I'm like, oh no, they shot the kitty cat. I was like, oh no. It's like you want to feel bad, but then it's so cute at the same time. You're so conflicted. But I do want to play. I think it's going to be a fantastic community game, especially for those who do streaming. It'll be a great way to get more people to come and play and interact with you. So it's fantastic. And then when I watched it, I instantly got that vibe that it kind of felt like a Fall Guys, a human Fall Flat kind of like crossover kind of thing. So it looked really, really cool. I'm all for it. I'm all for any kind of wacky game that you can, play is, like a good party game, because those are even if the party games are terrible, people usually make those experiences so much better. So that's what that's about. So I think it's gonna be great.
Don't they have an animal battle royale on Xbox for that?
Yeah, but that's battle royale. Like, no.
I'm so over battle royales right now.
That's what it felt like. I think that was like 2.0, but that's just me.
No, this is. I think this is going to be a great, fun night, community game night thing.
Yeah,
play with your friends. Everybody grab a couple of drinks and let's go have some fun kind of stuff. So, like you said, where everybody now might be for this game, so that's fine. Play the games that are for you, but still need to be able to have something for other people. It can't just be all first-person shooters and Halo and Gears and Forza. You got to have something for everybody. And
this is
at
the
least
same group that played Brawlhalla.
at least they had this game, and then there wasn't 5 other ones just like it behind it. So I don't have anything with this. Yeah, no problems with it at all.
This looks like the sequel to Human Fall Flat, because in Human Fall Flat you couldn't use weapons, and on this one you can. And I just remember playing so many hours with that game with my nephews. And we were just laughing the whole time. I remember we would load up the ring. The wrestling ring was our favorite one, and I would just fly across from corner to corner on the ring, just kicking and punching and headbutting, being like, "What's the matter, guys? You don't know karate?" Just doing that kind of stupid stuff and grabbing each other and trying to throw each other over the ring, under the ring. And this just looks like another one of those. Human Fall Flat was fun, and this looks like the sequel where we can electrocute each other or hit each other with weapons. It's going to be a lot of fun, and I can't wait to play it.
They better not say it's an animal abuse. I don't want to hear that.
There's not. It's not animal abuse. It's animal party.
What party is that? Oh man,
I want to be the cute little tiger. Tony the tiger. Well, hey, fiddly diddly, guys. This Party Animals game gets full support from Cletus. Make sure that you download the Game Pass when it comes there in the summer.
That actually sounds really perfect for that game. Actually does.
There you go.
Cletus the tiger.
Roar. Oh, shit. All right. Any further thoughts on Party Animals? Paul looks like a party animal, doesn't he?
That's okay. If you're going to eat animal crackers.
I love that movie.
Go get the game. That's all I gotta say. Go get it.
Yeah, go try it out. If it's gonna be in Game Pass, no harm, no foul. Well, there might be fouls in the game. There you go. So there you go. Get a duck. All right. The next game that was shown after that was hailed as one of the best games of 2020. It was regarded as Game of the Year by many publications. A little indie called Hades. August 13th. 2021, so just around the corner. Now you can play it free of charge with your subscription. There you go. So if you never got with Hades before, you're going to have a chance to do so now. How do you guys feel about Hades finally getting some time on the big screen, courtesy of Xbox and Game Pass?
Close on buying it on the Switch. I'm glad that I hold on to it until they actually announced it, because I was, I know that when it was not the Video Games Awards, but yeah, the Video Games Awards, I was like, you know what? Let me buy all Game of the Years and give it a try. And that was one of them. I'm like, man, it reminds me, because I played, I know it was, is it the same studio that created Bastion? Am I correct?
I think you're correct.
Super Giant Games, if I'm not mistaken. And when I saw that, I was like, you know what? I wanna play this. This is my jam. The hack and slash game, all that. That's on my alley, and I'm just glad that I'm waiting. I can't wait for it. Once it releases, I'm gonna download it and I'm gonna start playing that really, really quick. I love those type of games.
I think it's fantastic. Not everybody has access to playing games on PC, so now those that had been wanting to play it but they couldn't do it on PC, now they get the opportunity to play it, and it's on Game Pass. So if they don't like it, at least now they're like, well, okay, at least I didn't have to invest in it right away. So that still works out too. So like I think about it, like I look at that game and it's beautiful and it's stunning, but I'm terrible at roguelites. I'm not good at roguelike or like Metroidvania kind of games. Like I'm just terrible at them. So like that's why that's main reason why I never jumped on it on PC. But now that it's Game Pass, I might give it a try and see.
Or is it that you don't have the patience for it? That's my question.
Oh, patience. I'm just not good at it. Like I can't even do like 2D side scrollers because I can't figure out the perception of like how like the distance to jump, and I just struggle at it.
I see.
So it's just not my thing. And then some roguelikes do a lot of bullet hell kind of stuff. This one I heard doesn't really do it that too much, but like Returnal does that, and like I can't play that stuff. That's more of a patience thing. Like I can't deal with it. But I think this is cool that it's coming to Game Pass for sure.
I can just imagine Terry right now. Mario, my old nemesis.
I rage so hard on those things, man. You will never understand. Like I'm as close to the edge as I can to make my jump, and I still can't make my jump, and I'm just fuming. I'm like, I can't get any closer to the edge. How am I supposed to make this jump?
I'm with her until I found out that lately on some games they have the shadow, and you gotta kind of follow the character's shadow that it could actually make the jump. So
yes, you do that for 3D platformers. 2D ones don't have that,
Some of it, like that, sometimes they do, depending on the game. So.
Yeah, so like a lot of them don't. So I'm just like, I'm all the way at the end. I can't get on the thing. And I'm just like, you know what? F this. I'm out.
I got you. I got it.
Okay. Yeah.
All right, Sir X-Men, welcome to the chat. He tells Paul, shut up.
I'm not saying a word.
Okay.
Yeah, I can do some golf later.
Yeah, no. Roguelikes and me don't get along. I have played and bought so many roguelikes that I can't. The only roguelike I have ever finished is FTL, Faster Than Light. I tried playing Starve Together, died. Couldn't even make it a full year in that game. I bought Enter the Gungeon because I actually like bullet hell shooters. But Enter the Gungeon beat me. It's got a difficulty spike that is insane. What other roguelikes have I played? Well, name them. I probably tried them. And so when Hades was on the Switch only, and that it wasn't physical unless you went with limited run, I was like, nope, hard pass, even though everybody says it's amazing. But I'm glad it's coming to Game Pass because now I get to try this game that everybody says is really good, and I don't have to pay anything other than my subscription for it. And it's a roguelike, so if I get flustered with it, hey, no loss on my end.
99 more games on the side.
That's right. Add this to the list of games that I'm never, ever going to finish. 99% of them are roguelikes. But I'm excited for it.
Any further thoughts before we move on to the next game?
No.
All right, guys, we're over an hour and a half in. We're still not even halfway through this, so we're gonna pick things up after our next couple of games here. We're basically just gonna weigh in on the ones that we really want to weigh in on, and everything else is just kind of be like, it was cool, it was not, whatever. But this next game is called Somerville. And it's coming day one to Game Pass. What do you guys think of Somerville? I'm trying to even think of what that was right now. Could someone
It was that post-apocalyptic game where it had almost like that cell shaded kind of art style. It had those little blocks that kept shooting down into the ground. Right? The family was falling asleep on the couch.
Oh yes,
yeah. We can pass that if y'all want. Yeah,
I'll pass on that one.
I'll go on that one. I'll go on that real quick. That one, I think, based on the way they were showing it, I feel like that game is going to be an emotional experience, which is interesting because I'm watching it and you're seeing like it looks like some kind of alien invasion or something happened, and you're experiencing this family who's just trying to get around and survive. They're not trying to get involved with anything. So I think it's going to be a lot of emotions. You being scared. Your things are coming. You're trying to flee. I'm already expecting that the dog to either die or get left behind. I was already feeling, this is going to get emotional because you see that at the end you saw like the shadow in the stairwell, and the little kid was the one that woke up. What if that little kid wanders off to go see what's down there? Like that. That's a lot of emotion. You're gonna get anxiety. Like, no, little kid, no. But like, I think it could be a really good, impactful game depending on how they do it.
Good. All right. If nobody has anything further to add, it is now time to see if Terri is ready to drop her indie spotlight for this week, since we're at the midway point of our content. So, Halo Infinite, that's our next topic right after Terri. So, yeah, that's the one I know we're all waiting to dive into. Terri, you want to roll? You good to go?
I'm ready.
All right,
you done yet?
Let's bring you up.
Go ahead.
All
right, you guys. Originally, I wasn't going to do the showcase today. So we could focus on E3, but I really wanted to make sure we do this game because this game actually has some sales going on this week, and I was going to feel really guilty if I waited until next week and like, oh yeah, by the way, it was on sale, you missed it, sorry. So I didn't want to do that to you. So we're going to hit this game is called Figment. It's fantastic. I had a really good time playing this game from start to finish. I'm going to show you guys the trailer real quick, and then I'll do a real quick kind of briefing about it. Yeah, I'll just show it to you real quick. Hopefully the volume level's good.
What the heck happened here? Trauma in the conscious mind. The nightmares have come unconfined. They've seized our lands without remorse. We hide in fear behind closed doors.
Something's totally messed up in the mind. We need you back, Dusty.
We've got a nightmare to end. So a few nightmares escaped the gate. You're scared, huh? You have been unneeded for long, my friend, but the mind now needs your aid again.
Visitors of delightfully inconvenient.
Defeating a nightmare, I'll confess, should put an end to all this mess.
Blood and filth will soon prevail. Your screams of pain will be of no avail. Your bowels contract, you swell with gas, but the frost will be a last.
Who the heck was that?
Let's find out.
Run all you want, Fartface. We're coming to get you.
There are fears to fight, and a hero never sleeps.
Look at this place! The trauma's already taking root!
I'm saving my step for kicking your butt.
So hold on, and soon comes the day. There are sights you must see to believe that.
Get up there and catch him!
Hold on, I might be far away, but I know I will see.
Okay, so there's a lot going on in this trailer, so it may be a little difficult for some of you all to kind of like understand what's all going in there. I gotta figure out how I stop sharing this real quick. Right there it is. All right, so this game is, like it was shown, it was made by Bedtime Digital Games. It's an action-adventure puzzle game. But the thing that makes this one extra special is that it's a musical. Okay, so as you're playing through, if you heard the characters talking, you probably noticed that they were talking in a lot of rhyme, and then some of the enemies were actually singing as they were talking to you. This game, like hearing the one song when I started playing, I started to tear up a little bit because this game, it just puts you on this emotional level as you're playing through, and the music is what makes this game. The gameplay is fun, and the puzzles are really good, but every time you go and you interact with one of the villains and you get ready to do one of your boss fights, they kick it off with this new original song, and the whole time the enemies are singing to you instead of just talking. So it's like this fun musical experience, and it's just very, very well done. And they're actually working on the sequel, which is coming out here really, really soon, which is why I really wanted to make sure I get you guys into this one right away, because the sequel is not too far off. Now, this game is $20 on Steam normally, and it's on PS4, and it's on Switch, and it's going to be coming to Xbox here really, really soon. One of the things I wanted to point out, though, is despite the fact that it's on Steam, it's also on the Epic Game Store, and they're actually having it on sale right now for until the 17th. So you still got a few more days. So it's on sale until the 17th on Epic. For I hope I wrote this down right. I wrote down something. I don't even know what I wrote down. $2, I think. I think I wrote down $2. Don't quote me on that, but I think it was supposed to be $2 on Epic until the 17th. PS4 has it on sale until the 19th for $6. Okay. Otherwise, it's also on mobile. So if you have an iPhone or an iPad, you can play it for free on your iPhone. I don't think Android has it, unfortunately, but Apple does. So you can play it for free on your phone. $20 on Steam, $20 on Switch, or like I said, if you take advantage on Epic Game Store or PS4, you can get that really, really nice discount. It's like I said, the music in that game is so fantastic. You're going to get into some battles, and like it's like the song, it's just going to impact you, and you're going to have the best time ever. So I highly recommend you guys check it out and get it on sale. And like I said, it's coming to Xbox soon, and the Figment 2 is supposed to be released this year, I believe. So please don't miss out. It is such a gem. Such a gem.
Great title that you pick once again. A very interesting level design. Spider-Man's warning me in advance. Puzzle game, Newf. Oh boy, yes, we know how I do with those things. You have a great spotlight, guys. Figment, check it out. It's on Steam. It's on sale, as Terry mentioned. So go try it out. Sometimes the diamonds in the rough, man. Stuff that people overlook. Good stuff right there. All right, so next part of the show as we head into only at I think game 15. I think we're at highlights right now. And it is the game that many of us waited for. I think a lot of us were, the biggest shock today was that we didn't see it at the start of the show or the end of the show. It kind of came middle of the show, and that is Halo Infinite. Bonnie Ross came out to the stage and introduced a longtime Halo stalwart, Joseph Staten, who was part of the initial Bungie development team for Halo Combat Evolved, and he was involved in numerous Halo projects afterwards before he left Microsoft to do other things and has come back into the fold. So we now know that Halo is coming holiday. That's the interesting part. It didn't give an exact release, just as it's holiday 2021. I cannot see this game slipping out of holiday 2021. I really can't. They've said for some time it's basically done. It's putting the finishing touches. So I can't see it slipping just because they know how much is riding on this game, and they need to have a flagship title to close out the year, especially being the 20th anniversary too. Kind of goes hand in hand. I just hope that they got a lot of Xbox systems in stores by the time the holiday season hits. It's going to be paramount for them this year to have a very successful launch and the publicity. So let's start with what we saw.
Real quick, I can't remember where I've seen it, but I do think they're actually shooting for October.
That would be cool.
I think Axel said he wants to skip this topic. I'm pretty sure we want to go back to Diablo.
I heard something like that too. I'm with you, nurse. I think he did.
So in this, for those, like I said, we saw what started out to look like a cutscene from the campaign of Master Chief floating through space, picking up a weapon and landing in something, and then he's talking to another AI that comes out, which is, she looks a lot like Cortana, but she's not. Apparently Cortana is missing, was deleted apparently before she was transferred off. So something along that lines. All I know is that was really impressive. Master Chief looks as best as he's ever done. The amount of detail there, let's hope it transfers to the game. We didn't see much of like the actual gameplay itself, but based on a few screen captures I've already seen, I think any of us can tell you that we've came a long way for Halo since the days of Craig and stuff we saw last year. Just the scope and scale of this game are magnificent. The multiplayer looked absolutely nuts. I was not let down by it this time, I will honestly say, and people can say, us Xbox guys are just, talking through our butts and are just going to promote this game no matter what. Look, this game is going to be successful. It's going to be I have high hopes for this game, and I think it's going to deliver in spades. So who else wants to jump in on this? I can't say any more than I am super stoked for Halo Infinite. Please be, well, I'm cool if as long as it comes out this year. I don't care if it's October, November, December. We're going to have a ton of games to play. But my God, my jaw was on the floor. It was everything I could have asked for from what I've seen so far, and I'm pretty sure they're going to kick this one out of the park.
Okay, we could skip Axel and we could go to Terry and
Look, I'm just letting you guys go first before I go off for the next hour and a half here.
I'm actually going to pass because I'm not a Halo fan. I have nothing to say about it. So
and free multiplayer this time too, by the way. So even if you don't have Game Pass and you want to get in on the multiplayer aspect alone, whether it's spending $60, $70, or $80 or whatever, Microsoft doing it for you, baby.
Well, I'll jump in real quick since
Go for it.
I'm gonna let you finish, but first, uh, Master Chief looks great. I mean, you can tell they put a lot of work into this game, especially they're still going using the same art style, but we can all agree that it looks 10 times better. If you haven't had a chance to pull the 4K version of that trailer cutscene and everything together, it's amazing. We hadn't had anybody sit and pick it out Digital Foundry, but I don't care. We're getting this day one. So we got a little bit of the CGI, a small bit of story gameplay, which I think that's almost best. I really don't think they're going to pull anything story wise until sometime right before the game comes out, maybe a month out. You got your multiplayer, which is free to play. What was great that they announced was 120 frames per second. I don't know how many games other consoles have 120, but it's definitely not as much as Xbox. I'm just saying. The visuals on there, the different guns, the way they looked, just hearing the voice, killing spree, and all that throws in there. It reminds me of, if it's going to play multiplayer like 5 was, I'm good to go. The multiplayer was great. It was fun. Keep that going. We got a little see it capture the flag, and one thing too that I'm great that they pointed out, because folks are always going to poke holes at different things. Remember, there was a rumor, and they were almost talking before they said they weren't going to. Before they said they were going to pause this game and move it back to the next year, they were saying, the multiplayer might come out first and then the story might come out later. I think it was real important to state that both of them are coming out at the same time in fall of 2021, which I think they're going to try to put it, if not on the date, but closest to the date of the 20th anniversary. If not, they're just going to try to get it before Black Friday at some point. That's what I have on it. Looks great.
Go for it. Whoever wants to take it away.
All right.
Time to teabag this subject. Let's
go. Let me pour myself out some more double XP Mountain Dew. Everybody get your Doritos. Get your Mountain Dew. Get your Monster Energy. It's time to go.
Come on. I got places to go. Let's hurry up.
You know what? You can't go anywhere. Sit down. Stay sitting down.
You're telling the guy who never stands up to sit down. You know what?
All right.
Quote from Paul.
No, the cutscene was great. It's good we got to see another AI, the AI we're going to be working with. And apparently this AI was an infiltrator style AI, probably a 5th generation, maybe 6th generation AI, because as we all know, Cortana, as we all should know, Cortana is a 4th generation AI. So we're moving on with that. So moving on to multiplayer though, man, it was great. You get to see the voice guy, the voice actor guy. I don't know if you guys heard this. When the sniper no-scoped somebody, the voice actor literally came out and said, "No scope."
Mm-hmm.
That was awesome. So they're adding a little bit more to their multiplayer. The grappling hook, the fact that you could grapple to the top of the ceiling to jump down on somebody, that was awesome. That's going to put something on multiplayer that Halo hasn't had in a long time.
They even said grapple kill too.
Yes. Yeah, grapple kill. The fact that you can grapple weapons is going to be even better, because I'll tell you what, yesterday when we were doing our community game night, I would have killed to grapple a weapon so I could kill one of those warthogs that was shooting me. I love the fact that they got rid of the traditional red versus blue and started doing outlines, team outlines.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be awesome. It looks like the only place they kept the red versus blue was capture the flag, but other than that, it looks like it's going to be team outlines. The grapple shot is going to be amazing. Like I said, I don't know if anybody caught this, but somebody, of course I watched this trailer many times already. Somebody shot someone with a green gun. It looked like it was a plasma rocket. And the guy lifted up his arm and deflected it right back to where it came from.
Yeah.
We're looking at armor abilities, guys. We haven't had that successfully done in a long time as well. The fact that we're getting tons of vehicles and you can hijack a vehicle midair. You don't have to do a god jump anymore. You can just grapple hook them and take them out that way. That's great to me. I cannot wait for this game. The customization is going to be great. The graphics look amazing. It is a huge, huge step up visually from what we saw last year. There was no popping in the cutscene I saw. And so, yeah. And of course, I'm always team sprint. I don't care what anybody says. If you don't put sprint in a game, you're kind of, I don't know. I don't want Chief to move like he has, I don't know, like he's missing an ankle.
Or like he has a literal ton of armor on top of his body.
Yeah, but the armor is also has its own battery pack, so he can move it.
Michael Myers was slow but efficient, baby. I'm just saying.
Slow but efficient. Yeah, that's right. So Halo is looking great. Now, we didn't get any information on Big Team Battle 2.0, but that's okay. That was kind of shooting for the moon information. But if it's what I want is the chaos that Halo Infinite can bring on the maps. And the grapple shot and the armor abilities, I think, are going to give that chaos that we all want.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, man. I just can't wait. They better have a public flight.
Yeah.
Somebody in the chat said that they're doing signups for the public flight right now. I'm signing up. And if I don't get in, man, I am going to be one disappointed Halo fan.
I got a question for you guys, Axel and the rest of you guys. I got a question about this. So do you think they purposely held back a lot of the campaign because they're trying to avoid a lot of negative press, because they know that more so than last year, the magnifying glass is already on this game, right?
Yes.
And they can't really afford to have a lot of bad press going in. Like, you might call it seedy or shifty, whatever you want, but like, I think they're confident that it looks fine, but they know that no matter how good this game is going to look, someone's going to start magnifying glass and it's super scoping it 400 times, picking crap out like that doesn't need to be, and trying to ruin the vibe of Halo going into the launch. And obviously there's still putting the finishing touch. So I'm wondering if they purposely did that so that they didn't have to spend the next 6 months going, oh crap, we better fix this, because the game is almost coming out now. So, that sort of thing. And also the fact that they put the listing as holiday instead of like an actual date. So that gives them that leeway to move it a couple weeks one way or the other, just in case things are a little bit rough, because you still got the beta, right? So do you think that's part of the reason we saw what we saw the way it was presented?
I'm going to go with
go ahead,
no, because when Jason was talking, they showed the Halo ring with a bunch of UNSC soldiers and kind of like a drone shot of the Halo ring. And you can see, as far as your eye could see, no popping. Everything looked clear. Everything looked according to the design. So I think it is really looking good, really coming forward. They've finished optimizing that engine. Now, are people going to zoom in? Yeah, of course they are. This game has to be able to scale up and down to the Xbox One Jag core. So is it going to look as good as some of the stuff the competition's showing? Probably not. But, there are some games you buy to look at, and there's some games you buy to play. And Halo's one of those games that you buy to play.
And remember, but people tend to forget is there was a little itty bitty tiny print when we saw last year. That was an extremely early version of the game. It had none of the goodies added on to it. So when everybody started harping on it, they forgot that was, nowhere near the finished product, not even close.
Yeah, and I mean, Xbox has a lot of tricks on their sleeves. The closer you get to something, maybe the more detail it loads. That's just the way even your eyes work. Like I was in Colorado last week and I was trying to see if I could see the mountains without that haze that a lot of games put on there. There's no such thing. It doesn't exist in the real world. And so, we can't we shouldn't model what doesn't exist. I guess we could, but it's better if we don't. So yeah, I don't think they're hiding anything. I think that they just focused on what the Halo community wanted, and they wanted to see multiplayer. I know a lot of people wanted to compare the campaigns from last year to this year, but the community, the outspoken community, because Halo community is very outspoken, wanted to see multiplayer, and that's what they focused on, and we saw it, and I got to tell you, it's going to be fun. I cannot wait to get in there and do basically what we were doing yesterday, just have a good time.
Yeah, we had a great time last night.
I think they actually did purposely hold it back for two things. One, which we've already stated, and the other one has been said in the chat as well. One is because they know it's going to be scrutinized to a T. For them to hold it back, like I said earlier, they're probably going to have a full showcase of this game to hype it up to maximum ability, and then maybe give you a little teaser of a snippet of a game. Plus, they're going to be beta testing multiplayer, so folks are going to have their hands. The multiplayer was to get everybody hyped up for the game, show what you can do, and then I wouldn't be surprised in a couple of weeks down the road or a month or down the road, they'll start saying they got betas for everybody to start playing the multiplayer in little snippets, start passing that out. But as far as the campaign, now you have more time to make it even better than you want to. You got you a little piece of the CGI, which looked great to show that we have bumped this game up way higher than we had before. Then you had just the smallest bit of Master Chief walking, moving, or doing something before you went straight to multiplayer. I think if they wanted to show more, because I wanted to see the multiplayer, I want to see the shoot 'em ups and all the abilities and what comes up, but I do want to see what campaign looks like. But I do think it was a better idea, because no matter what they did before, I enjoyed the campaign snippet they showed before, just to see the gameplay. And there was trolls all over it, and then you found Craig. So you don't think there's folks who are going to sit there and try to find something else? There's always going to be somebody find something else, but now you have more time to get people.
I gotta say the single player is probably pretty much wrapped at this point.
No. I'm not saying that they're not finished with it, but you can work on textures more. If you got a chance of some kind of bugs, you got more time to do it. Any process in any job you're doing, yes, you can do a job and it might only take you 3 hours to do it. But if they give you a whole week to perfect it to the greatest thing in the world, why not take it? Especially when you have the whole corporation, the big wigs, and all the competitors are looking over your shoulder while you're doing it.
No, I'm just saying that by now, I bet you the primary focus is the multiplayer. By now, they're so close to going gold that the single player's got to be pretty much wrapped.
And
there will be a showcase for the campaign.
Gamescom.
Absolutely. I don't see Halo not having its own event right before launch, getting everybody hyped up. And everybody,
it's the 20th anniversary.
Hail to the Chief, everybody. He's back. We're going to be playing the Chief, and only the Chief, it looks like. I don't know how they're going to do co-op, but I'm sure, I don't care if it's another Chief clone, as long as co-op is also in there, because I love me some co-op Halo.
Yes.
And the one thing that they didn't show that a lot of us have been harping for is elites in multiplayer. A lot of us have been harping for elites to come back. But it's hard to balance because elites have a smaller hitbox. Their bodies are taller, lankier kind of thing. But yeah, I can't wait, man. We should all be happy and excited for what we saw, because it looked the one thing that last year and this year have shown us is that the gameplay is top notch. And that's what Halo needs to be all about. The gameplay.
It'd be really cool if they had a mode in the game called brute fight or something like that. So it'd be just like brutes against brutes, and you'd have grab those big freaking hammers and
that'd
guns,
be crazy.
And everything would move a bit slower, but everything would be really, really violent and very heavy. You know what I mean? So that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, but at the same time, if you want to add grunts, everybody's gonna become grunts just because of what they say when they get killed.
Oh man, that would be so hilarious.
Well, that would be a great mode too.
Everybody's gonna be a grunt.
Make a survival mode where it's millions of grunts coming at you.
And every single time that you get hammered by the grunt, a lot of confetti start coming out from their head.
Yeah, it's fun. Halo has a lot of possibilities because it's Bungie didn't create a game; they created a world, a universe that can go many ways. And 343 has fumbled, but I think they're finally on the right track with this. It looks promising. It looks incredible, and it doesn't look misleading. And that's what I love the most about it.
Now, as far as the date, I think it gives them wiggle room to perfect it how they want it to, but also we don't have a concrete date on Call of Duty, and you don't want those both coming out on the same week. Even though folks are still going to play Halo, you want to have the maximum amount of eyes and players on that game. That's just what I'm thinking.
By the way, I can't wait till they put ray tracing on in this game. I know it's going to launch without ray tracing. They've announced that. But could you imagine the new AI infiltrator? That's what I'm going to call her for now. Infiltrator doing her own light source in the game. How awesome that would look.
Yeah.
That would look epic.
Because I'm very surprised that they don't want to add that at the beginning. We're talking about a first party game.
Yeah.
I think I believe that every first party game should have all the bells and whistles on first day. I'm just, that's just me. Since we're talking about Halo,
I agree with you wholeheartedly. There shouldn't be a reason why, other than Xbox didn't give them a way to turn it on. That's the only thing I could think. Or maybe it's just so demanding of the hardware because the path ray tracing is the most power hungry ray tracing that exists, and that's the kind of ray tracing Xbox is interested in.
But it has 12 teraflops.
12 teraflops.
Not even.
An RTX 3090 has almost 20. Yeah. Or sorry, a 3080 has 20 teraflops, and it still struggles.
Yeah.
Especially when you're in a full blown multiplayer, which they have yet to test out. So
right.
Yeah, ray tracing is just so demanding. But yeah, I'm excited. I can't wait. Hey, sorry to rant on, but yeah, I love it. I can't wait.
Any final thoughts on Halo? I think overall the general consensus though with Halo is impressed or not impressed. Let's go around. Impressed or not impressed? Axel?
Oh, obviously I'm impressed.
Terry?
She loves it.
Shaddai?
Impressed.
Paul?
Impressed with what I saw, but me in multiplayer.
Scrubs?
Thoroughly impressed. Killing spree.
Color me impressed too. Yes.
Soldier.
Let's do it. I think it's a great game. I honestly think that's going to be awesome. Make sure you get out there and support Halo Infinite. His Master Chief, and is the only Master Chief out there, and he's back. He's lean, he's mean, he's green, and he's going to kick your ass like a machine. He's awesome. Buy the game. Halo Infinite.
Are you going to be part of Halo, Arnold?
I just might be. I could be in the game. I might be wearing a suit of armor, but I could be in there. All right, guys. Let's move this right along. Now we're going to really try to speed this up a little bit. Now, pound through the next 10 or 11 games. I think there are some ones we're gonna stop kind of and hold up on, but we're gonna move this on a little bit. Like the next one, Diablo 2, September 23rd, coming to Game Pass. The Diablo 2, the remake. If you're a Diablo fan, how do you feel about this game coming out after all these years with remastered elements? Any Diablo fans in here? Looks like Axel is. He's shaking his thumb.
Yeah, I can't wait. Diablo 2 is the GOAT of Diablo games, and I can't wait to play it with enhanced graphics on Game Pass. I don't know. Was it on Game Pass? I don't think it was.
No, it was.
No, they didn't announce for Game Pass.
No, sorry. Either way, I'm playing it. Who cares?
Yeah, it looks great. I missed out on Diablo 2, so I'm excited to maybe give that a look. And I was actually surprised when they shown that I think this was the game that had the 8-player co-op, and I was like, what?
Yes, 8 players.
Like, that was not expected at all. Like action RPGs like that, usually you don't have co-op, and when they do, it's like one person, maybe 4 at the most. So 8-player was insane. So that's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. Nice. Anybody else? Further thoughts? Shaddai?
Not a fan. Sorry.
You're not a fan. Okay, you had your thumb up like you're like, oh yeah, that.
Oh no, I went like this.
No, you're not okay. Not a fan. Okay, gotcha.
I'm not a fan.
Yes, there's thumbs up, there's fist pumps, and then there's the odd motion like that. Wii controller motion.
I should have went like this to Paul. Hey, Paul, what do you think? Hit him with my elbow.
Anybody else bringing back the old games with new upgraded visuals? For me, it's a total pass. I'm not interested in going back to Diablo 2. I didn't barely even play number 3. Just not really my. I mean, they're okay. I just never had a chance really to play it. So
Yeah. It looks good. I'm glad for it. I probably won't get a chance to play it, but I'm happy that it is here.
Cool
I'll
beans.
play it. I like them. They're fun. They're time wasters.
Optimized for the series.
Yep.
Yeah. There you go. So good guys, Diablo 2. If you never played it, now's your chance to jump back into the classic franchise. Get over to the next game, and this one kind of came out of a surprise today, but it was a pleasant surprise. Team Asobo is back with the sequel to one of the most revered games, I think, of 2018. If I'm correct, it was 2018. A Plague's Tale Requiem, fantastic game that you can play on Game Pass right now. Just magnificent. It was definitely one of my pleasant surprises, a game that I thoroughly enjoyed from start to finish. It graphically was on par with some of the best games of the generation. I suspect bigger and better things out of Asobo, who just seem to be pushing hardware to some crazy limits, as we will see later on, or we'll talk about later on with Flight Simulator. So yeah, Asobo is back, man. Who knows? Asobo could be one of those teams that Xbox locks up. They have an amazing amount of talent and definitely good at pushing the graphical showcase envelope. How do you guys feel about A Plague's Tale 2? I'm pretty sure like we thought it might come, but to be coming sort of so soon. Like I think they announced it at 2022, or did it even have a date? I don't know.
2022.
Wow.
I am psyched for this.
Damn.
The first game, the first game was amazing. If you haven't played the first game, you need to.
Yes.
And it did end leaving it wide open for a sequel. So I mean, yeah. I will say if you don't like rats, probably not a good idea.
Very true.
There is no rat phobia mode you can turn on and make the rats disappear. No, and especially because they tell you use headphones when you play this game. The sound effects in this game are amazing, but again, if you don't like rats and things crawling around in your head, not a good idea. Just saying, you'll have nightmares for weeks. Yeah, but yeah, it's cool. I'm looking forward to it.
All right. Anybody else want to chime in on A Plague's Tale 2?
I did play the first one, and it was a decent game. I had a lot of gripes with it, honestly, but overall it was a good game. So I was actually surprised to see that they made a sequel of it. And if they can fix some of the things I had issue with the first one, it'll be a phenomenal game for sure.
Good to know.
I only play a little bit of a Plague's Tale. I love the story. I love the visuals, and I was very surprised to hear that there was a sequel releasing, which actually, for people that finish, which, you know, it's really good to hear that we get a sequel and we get to experience more of the story.
Do you guys think it's going to be definitely a larger scale? Because if you notice the way that the game or the trailer ended with the kid and the larger vistas, and it obviously looked like it was definitely a little bit brighter, whereas the first game was largely set in very claustrophobic, tight spaces. So I think that might be where they're going to branch out and be a little bit more freewheeling, a little more open. Wouldn't say open world, but definitely more choice and a little bit more adventurous as opposed to more of a linear experience.
There did seem to be a lot more rats. I'll just say that.
A whole tsunami of rats.
Yeah.
The only thing that I can say is probably because they were trying to focus in one particular, like you say, in one particular area. So by people liking the story and all that, now it opens more of the pretty much of the world, so it could expand more of the story. So that's what I saw on the trailer. So I guess we get to see some other places that have the plague.
Yeah.
So let's see how it goes.
Cool beans. Yeah, definitely one of today's biggest pleasant surprises. The next game comes as no surprise, but we talked about this a few weeks ago on our podcast, and that is Far Cry 6, which definitely looks amazing. If you're a Far Cry fan and certainly a fan of Giancarlo Esposito, his work and the stuff that's happening here. Hey, we saw a giant rooster attacking people today, I think it was. So this game is going to be a little bit wacky. So yeah, how do you feel about what you saw today? I mean, it really wasn't a lot different, but does it keep the hype train rolling here, guys? Far Cry 6.
Yes. That's all I have to say. Yes.
Yes. I want to see Lil Chorizo again. Yeah, I think it definitely keeps the hype train going. Like I said, anytime you can get these third-party games on an E3 stage with Xbox around it, you're just getting the mind share. You're gonna get more people trying to play these games. Like I said, most people aren't us who just delve into the weeds. They see it, they watch E3, they see it on Xbox stage. It's on Xbox. And that's what you want. You want folks buying the consoles, you want folks buying the games.
And it seems like I think Xbox might have the promotional stuff with this one, you think, or they're investing on it, seems like.
I believe so. It's too much to be coincidence, especially when they came out and said, if you want to see more of what we have, check us out at the Xbox E3. So I wouldn't be surprised at all that they have the rights to advertise and stuff.
Well, I'm excited for it. I don't know about the rest of you, but yeah, it was good to see it make its return, and we'll see a lot more Far Cry coming out. And I think it's slated for what is it? Far Cry. What's the date on that one? Is it October
7th? October 7th. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So it's been delayed a few times, but it is just around the corner now, just several months out. And I intend to pick it up. I just don't know if it'll be a day one for me, but we'll see what happens. Any further thoughts about Far Cry?
No,
Anybody want to talk about
that? Could end up being the one I use my 50% discount on, because that does look good to me. And I like the actor who plays the bad guy. I loved him in Breaking Bad. I loved him in everything he's done. And so just on that alone, it may make it worth it just to see those bits.
Oh, yeah.
I'm definitely looking forward to it. It's a day one for me. I can't wait.
Day one for Terri. Good stuff. Yes, she just can't wait to play with those chickens and send them psychotically chasing people.
Yeah.
Macarena.
The Macarena gun, yeah.
I can see a little mini game of cockfighting.
Well, that's what it looked like to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's only a mini game in your world. That's a mini event in mine.
I could have had 20 great jokes for this segment, but unfortunately for Gaming After Dark.
You and me both, Newf. I think we need to do a special edition for Gad.
All right. Well, I know sometimes there's some slimy people out there, so this next game is a popular sequel to a very popular game. Well, it should be a popular sequel to a popular game. This one a little bit surprising. I didn't know we'd kind of see this. And again, this is one of those games that fits that portfolio for, not just the hardcore, but for the families and people that just like something a little less contriving, a little less serious. And we're talking about Slime Rancher 2. So any fans of the original Slime Rancher, I know it was on Games with Gold, I think like a couple of years ago, and it seems to have found a pretty good audience. Obviously it wouldn't be back if it didn't. So any thoughts on Slime Rancher, anybody? And it's coming to Game Pass day one too.
Yes.
Yeah, I haven't played it. I think they recently added the first one to Game Pass. It looks cute, but yeah, no, I never bothered with it.
It's a cute little game for the family. Play together, parents, kids, and the rest of kids. You got to have something like this, and it has some acclaim. I never played the original one, but I was glad to see it on there.
Right. Sounds like Terri's got no time for slime.
Yeah, no, I just don't do farming games anymore. I was one of those guys that was really into Farmville or whatever, and I can't get into it anymore. So I'm just going to pass on it. It's popular. It's just not for me anymore.
I never got into the game. I tried it. I didn't care for it.
I think ever since Stardew Valley, like the farming thing in games has become super oversaturated. So it gets kind of exhausting.
Yeah, but I mean, for the children who like it, it's a cute game. It's competent. Like I said, it's just not for me anymore.
Think of the children. Okay.
Will somebody think of the children?
Newf, you're still muted.
Newf is muted.
I think it's safe to say that Slime Rancher didn't really fall hard on the radar for most people, but hey, we're glad it's there. It's more content and it's coming to Game Pass, so no harm, no foul. The next game might be up more people's alley, especially if you happen to be into winter sports and that sort of stuff. And it looks like a bit of a throwback back to the old AMP days, or that stuff where SSS Tricky. Well, it still looks more serious. I'm talking about Shredders, and this is an Xbox Game Pass Studios game, I think. And it's coming this winter to Game Pass. So Shredders. So you like skateboarding, snowboarding. Well, this one, I don't think it has any skateboards, but what we saw snowboards. We saw snowmobiles in there. What else was in this trailer? It looked pretty cool to me.
Snowboarding, all that. It looked like SSX game.
Yeah. It looks like it's going to be more serious, but I'm just wondering how they're going to tie in the Ninja Turtles to this one. I'm really looking forward to that. But no, if it is a more serious game, I'll still try it out. I'm big fan of SSX back in the day, but and 1080 and all those older, PS1, PS2, original Xbox snowboarding games. So I'm looking forward to it. I just would like to know more information. I know we'll get it as it comes out. It's slated for December of this year, so I'm pretty sure something else will come out about this game.
I'm definitely interested. I'm really big into these kind of games, but when it comes down to it, it's going to be all about the controls. There's a reason why like people prefer Tony Hawk over Skate because of the controls. So they have to get that right. Otherwise, people are just going to go back and play Steep and get what they want out of that for a better quality looking game. And they do have tough competition because Riders Republic is coming out this year too. And so everyone that wants to get into that X game kind of stuff might be, they're going to have to jump back and forth with what they like. So I'm interested. I think it's cool. It's on Game Pass. But yeah, when it comes to these games, controls can make or break you.
Yes. Well, that's the thing. I think some of those games have spent too much time on trying to find the realism and forgot that, hey, they're still supposed to be games first. And you don't want to be playing a skateboarding game that literally feels as difficult as actual skateboarding. You know what I mean? Like that's, applaud skateboarders because they are a breed in themselves, man. The stuff that they do with those boards blows my mind. But, that's the thing. For me, that was the thing. Like SSX Tricky back in the day. And those games were just, they had some simulation parts, but for the most part, it was just fun. It was just about nailing stuff and not trying to figure out 5 million controls. I mean, what was it? It was one there I played on the PlayStation about 2 years ago, and it was somebody's snowboarding game. It was an Olympic guy, I think from Canada or whatever his name was.
White or something?
Shaun White?
No, there was Sean, but there was one after that. This was like 2 years ago, and it was a Canadian snowboard guy that
Sean Yellow?
Just kidding. I can't even remember his name. Alex Bilodeau or something like that, and I forget the name, but it was like a snowboarding game, and the controls were absolutely like stupid. Like I couldn't even get into it because it was not fun. You just couldn't nail stuff because you're trying to hit like 40 different ways in the air before you land it. But anyway, getting off topic, I think it's cool. Shredders, I'm interested. I don't know if it'll be a day one for me, but obviously it's Game Pass anyway, so it's a no harm, no foul situation. You can't really go wrong. And it's nice to see, above all else, that Microsoft is branching out with a variety of content, not just just loading this thing up with shooters and stuff. That they're definitely, you saw this through the entire show, that they're trying to get a little bit of everything and bring in a lot of audiences, and that's really good for them. So hopefully they'll have a hit on their hands, and it could turn into a solidified franchise here.
Oh, for sure. Yeah,
definitely. I picked up 1080 recently, the older one from the 64, and snowboarding games, I played it, and I got to tell you, it's a good thing this game is coming to Game Pass, because I can't see myself paying for $60 for a snowboarding game these days. When I was younger and the hardware was more limited and games as a whole were more limited, I would, but not today. I really hope. So one thing that I saw in the game was that it almost looked like everything was powder here, powder there when you're snowboarding. And being a native of Colorado, where if you go snowboarding, not everything is powder. A lot of it is ice. Yeah. And it handles worse in some cases than powder. So, like Terry said, controls are going to have a lot to do with it. If they can simulate, I won't say full simulation, but if they can at least make you feel the difference between powder and ice, that would be awesome.
Yeah. I'm from Louisiana, so I have no idea what you're talking about.
Oh no, I know what he's talking about, especially from New York State. So
sometimes that powder. Wrong powder.
And the ice is not the Breaking Bad ice. All right.
Yeah.
And I can tell you, if you go and you play Steep, you definitely get that difference between powder and ice and rocks, and like you feel it all, and it trips you up big time in that game. So we'll have to see what they do.
Absolutely. Good stuff. Let's move along, guys, to Atomic Heart coming to Game Pass. This game pretty cool. Definitely had the graphics would definitely look really cool in this one. So who wants to talk about Atomic Heart?
I'll pass.
And for me, it's usually Atomic Fart, but
For me, Atomic Heart is kind of iffy. Like, I don't know. Like, their trailers are always all over the place. And I would like to see like some solid gameplay where the person does a really good job with it. What I mean is, if you go back to like Ubisoft Forward when they showed the gameplay for Rainbow Six Extraction, the person playing actually had skill. They were getting 1-bullet headshots. When you watch the gameplay in Atomic Heart, they don't hit anything. They're just shooting and always missing everything, and it drives me absolutely insane. Because if you're going to show off a shooter, you want the player to be a decent, shooter.
It's a stormtrooper trainer. Leave it alone.
All right. So it just, I don't know. It's like I said, I want to see how the game actually is supposed to be, because they're not representing it well, in my opinion. I want to see how it actually is supposed to be, because the trailers jump all over the place, and the gameplay, the player had like zero accuracy. So I'm like, I don't think, I want to see how it's intended.
Right. I thought the graphics were cool, and some of those creatures were pretty nuts. That one gets up in your face, like with the teeth and everything or whatever. It's like, dang.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the ones on Game Pass. I will be checking it out. It drew enough interest for me. I will be checking it out. No problem.
Game Pass 2022.
Yeah, I feel like I'm gonna pass on this one just because, as Terry said, it's just weird, and I'm just not buying it. The trailer was weird.
Yeah, me either.
I'm gonna give it a try because it's I know it's a shooter, but at least it is away from any of the traditional shooter. At least we probably get to use more. I'm not gonna say telekinesis, but I guess the character is connected to whatever device it is, and you get to control a lot of the things to go against the enemy. So I just wanted to see a little bit more of what else that the game, the powers that we get to use against the enemies. So that's something that I really wanted to see. But yeah, I want to give it a try. I really
wasn't there a shooter back on like the 360 generation? I think Time Splitters or something, where you had to shoot and mess with time going forward and backward all the time. I could have swore they already had that.
I had a game, not Time Splitter like that, but I did have something like that. I can't even remember. Yeah. But I know we had a. Oh wow! I can't believe it. But it reminds me of BioShock when you have to hold all your bullets and all that, and trying to shoot it at them. So that actually gave me an idea, something like that. But I'm gonna wait until it releases or anything like that. So I wanted to give it a try.
Nice. The next game we're going to talk about, if we're done with Atomic Heart, is called Grounded. Yes, I know this is not the newest game. It's been out for a little while now through Xbox Game Pass, and I think through the preview system or whatever. But it has been a game that's sort of like Sea of Thieves, has evolved quite a bit, has certainly found a very big following, and and it's just an interesting little game. And they do have some new content coming out called the Shroom and Doom update June 30th. So that's like literally just around the corner. It looked really cool, like what they did with the trailer, how they presented it. They did the whole spider thing and turned it into, what was it, the arachnophobia mode, and turned it into a ball with eyes. It was funny. It was a really good trailer, a nice way to do it. So obviously not a lot to say here, I'm sure, but any Grounded fans here, and did anybody get kind of excited about seeing the extra content?
No,
not really. I mean, I played Grounded. It was decent, but because it was early access, it had a lot of problems, so I kind of like lost interest because I got tired of all my stuff just disappearing in the game. So I got fed up with it. But it is a great game, and I'm happy to see that it's finally getting like its official release. So it'll be great for people that didn't fall off. But that's kind of like the negative when it comes to preview games on Xbox. I don't think those are really meant for console gamers. It's not like PC where Steam has early access. PC gamers are a little bit more dedicated in that sense. When you do the early access on console, people kind of fall off a lot faster. And then those, you know what I mean? So that's not really a positive for the console side.
Well, he announced there's achievements coming, so it means the game must be getting close to some sort of a completed form.
Yep.
Right. So
I enjoyed it in its test run. We played it a lot. You know, a bunch of us, actually completed the main storyline. So.
Yeah.
That's what we say, right? There's room out there for these types of games, and with Game Pass issuing the more content, like having lots of content, you got to have some of these things, and you got to applaud the team for trying to do something a little bit different and unique. And like I said, variety is the spice of life, and we're definitely seeing lots of it here. I don't have any more to say. Anything more about Grounded, people? Or shall we move along?
Move along.
What? Nobody got excited seeing those big shrooms?
Not those kind. So I mean,
Yeah,
those don't-
exactly.
Hey, the next game is also a game that's been out for quite some time. It's certainly made a huge impact on mobile. It's coming out for a lot of different platforms and finally coming to Xbox and Game Pass. I'm referring to Among Us. Like I said, it's been a very successful little game. I've never played it. It is great to see it's finally coming to Xbox. I'll leave it at that. I don't have anything else to say on it. Hopefully there's no Jeff Keighley mask in it, but who maybe there is.
How have you never played it? That's what I think.
I've never played Among Us. I don't know where the hell would I play it. Is that on mobile or something? Just because I've never played it.
Well, no, it
That's
is on
100%
mobile,
sus.
but it's also on PC. But it is on mobile, and I mean, given the community game nights and stuff, I'm surprised you all never did it. That's all I'm saying.
Right. Oh yeah,
Among Us can be hilarious if you have the right personalities.
Yeah.
And everybody has a mic. It's definitely more funny, more hilarious when everybody has a mic.
I just think
with the large groups they're now introducing, that's going to be a blast.
Yeah, definitely.
They say 32 player. That's going to be wild in that game.
I think it's too violent for me. It's a little too violent.
No, it's good. It's a fun game. The kids love it. It's gotten picked up a lot. It's great for the game itself that the developer really went unnoticed for 2 years and then just blew up. But I'm just unless I get the right group of people, I'm not playing it. But hopefully, I will be able to get the right group of people.
Yeah, I think that's a large part of it, right? It's finding the right group of people. Again, it's just another bonus game, and glad it is coming to Xbox.
With a lot of group games like that, it's about the right group of people. Yeah,
it's going to find a whole new audience for sure when it comes to Game Pass and Xbox. So good stuff. Now we forgot one little game, and this is one we definitely wanted to talk about. I know Terry was excited, but a lot of us were excited about this one pre-show before we started. And that is a game called Replace, which some of us actually thought at first glance might have been The Last Night, but it looks amazing, fantastic 3D, 2D art style. Very tech noir sort of. I don't know what you want to sum it up. It just looked really, really cool. I know as soon as I watched, I was like, man, this game looks dope, and it is coming to Game Pass in 2022. So, who wants to talk about being replaced?
I don't want to be. I'm not raising my finger to be replaced, just in case.
I think this just replaced The Last Night. I know we've seen trailers 2017. We really hadn't seen or heard much about this game, and like Newf said, I definitely thought that this was the first couple of seconds. I'm thinking, all right, Last Night, let's go. And as it kept going, I was like, wow, if this is Last Night, they have upgraded a lot of stuff. And when it came out and said replaced, I stopped thinking about The Last Night. If Replace comes out first, I forget the studio who did Last Night. I think this is gonna hurt them big time because it looks like it's all in the same exact vein. It's a 8-bit side scroller in the cyberpunk genre using same color palette. So whenever this game comes out, I'm definitely jumping on it. They said 2022. So for right now, until something else comes later, I'm saying goodbye to The Last Night. I'm looking at Replace.
Go ahead, guys. Thoughts on
absolutely.
Replace?
I actually had never heard of this game, if I'm being honest.
Me either.
Nobody did until the day, I don't think.
Yeah. And when I saw this game coming up, I'm like, oh my god, another pixel art game. I'm not a big fan of pixel art games. Just I have nothing against them, but you got to be real special to capture me if you're gonna do pixel art. And the more this trailer went along, the more the music kept building up, and then when it finally built into the combat and the different locations that it went, the more and more interested I came out, and I'm like, okay, this is starting to look real interesting, real good. And finally, it got to the very end of the trailer. And by the end of the trailer, this game took me from zero interest to fully interested.
Mhm.
I am in on Replaced. If it plays as smooth as it showed, and the music is as good as it is throughout the whole game, I am in. And 2022 is a long time from now, but yeah, this game looks amazing, sounds amazing, and I can't wait to hear more about it.
I was super excited when I saw it because it looked amazing from right away when it first popped up, and I was like, okay, wait, what is this? And then there's like the motion. Like, it was very, very fast paced and fluid, and the music was great. And then I started fangirling when they changed it and they no longer had a fixed camera and the camera shook and it twisted. I was like,
when
oh
he broke
my
his
God,
arm.
yes.
Yeah, that was awesome.
At that point, I was done. I was like, yep, sign me up. Because you don't see that in a lot of these pixel games, especially side-scrolling ones. So once that camera started moving around, I was like, I was fangirling so hard. But yeah, I'm super pumped for it. I'm excited. I want to play it. It looks phenomenal. And actually stung me a little bit because my game's a pixel game. So thanks a lot. But
make it special. Make it special.
But no, it looks so amazing. I'm so excited.
Nice. That's what I'm saying, man. A variety in here, and just some of these smaller titles that just make a big impact, and that's definitely one that will be on my radar for sure. Any further thoughts about Replace, or we'll move on to the next one?
Yes, I do have one.
Go ahead.
I'm with Nurse. Now that the last night is MIA, even though it says it's in production in 2021, now I can see that after the success of Octopath Traveler, I can see that a lot of games indies are using that type of technique of 2D, 3D. That game, yes, it reminds me of the last of not The Last of Us. What am I talking about? The Last Night. I was really hyped up. I'm like, I want to see what is it. Is this the last night? When it says replays, I'm like, you know what? You know what's gonna happen? That if the last night releases this year, or by any chance, it will be pretty much for an indie side a 1-2 punch between the last night and that one, because you can see the potential that game have to be a really good game, especially for an indie. So when it releases, I'm looking forward to that also, like any, like all of you. It's so I can't wait for that game to be released and pretty much give it a try on that one too.
Nice. Well, sounds like the consensus is good on this one, and that's a great sign. Now, to appease people who've always cried that, hey, Xbox needs a little bit more in terms of the Japanese RPG style, we saw an interesting title, the Ayuden Chronicles. I hope I pronounced that right. The Ayuden Chronicles of finally. 2022 and 2023. So it looks like they have like two titles in the works. I'm not sure if the second one was it was an expansion or DLC. You can clarify that, Shaddai. Sounds like you're up on this. But yeah, it looked like a cool little game, obviously, with that very stylistic art style. Give us your take on this one. I don't have much to say about it. Like, for me, it's something I wouldn't mind trying, but not something I'd be like day one on. So, any thoughts?
Yeah, pretty much. I like JRPGs
and in Game Pass,
and in Game Pass too, which it surprised me. It's the same. I'm gonna be saying the same take as the replays. Lately, you are seeing right now that they're using a lot of the techniques that they use on Octopath after that success. And also, finally, they're adding more Japanese games to Game Pass. That's something that they're pretty much lacking. Japanese JRPGs. And this actually adds more to, more diversity for people that are looking for something that is JRPG. That's something when I saw it, I'm like, I'm all in. I like JRPGs, especially those type, because it's something different. We're not stuck to the attack, wait for here, wait for there. You can see the fluidity on that one. But I'm looking forward to that.
Nice.
I
Go ahead,
was
Terry.
so ecstatic. I was so ecstatic when I saw it. Like I was jumping on my freaking seat.
Yep.
Not too many JRPGs, speak to me, but as soon as this one came on and they started showing the things that it was doing, I was just blown away. Coming in for the pixel art side when it started doing like the super fast paced animations with the one where the girl was rotating her arm really fast. Like that is something that you can't really get good quality of for pixel art because it starts to get really blurry. So the fact that they found a good balance with how many pixels to make the art look good and still have really good looking animations is just it's mind blowing and it's beautiful and it got me super pumped and it's actually a JRPG that I want to play because they're so far and few for me. So I'm excited, and the fact that there's 2 titles, and I'll get get them both on Game Pass is just even better because it just looks really good. And you guys, you should have heard me freaking screaming when I saw it. I was going all out. Like the excitement was real. It was great.
It's awesome. Yeah, no. The only disappointment with this one is 2023. Oh my God, so far away. But it's okay. I got lots of games to play between now and then.
There's 2 parts. So it wasn't one part is 2022 and then another is 2023.
Yeah, Rising is 2022.
Rising's 2022.
Yeah, which is more an action game than it is an RPG.
100 Heroes is 2023.
Yeah,
nice,
but
nice.
The combat didn't remind me of Octopath Traveler. There's this old game, I don't know if anybody knows about this one, called, I just had it. Golden Sun. There we go. Golden Sun on the old Game Boy Advance. That's what the combat looks like because it kind of pans the camera around to almost behind you, so you get to see the action a little different, almost third-person view. So I had instant flashbacks to Golden Sun. And I'm interested in this game for sure, but 2023 is a long way, and gotta wait.
Trying to make sure those pixels is actually pixels, so trying to make them brighter.
And yes, Fastback, I was screaming all through the Halo Infinite gameplay. My wife was sitting right next to me, and I'm not sure. I might have shook her a little bit out of excitement, but it happened.
I think that was one of the dates, the longest dates out they gave today, because like Phil said, they wanted to focus on what's coming soon. I think the only reason you saw that 2023 date is because the first one was 2022.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Any thoughts? Anybody else who didn't chime in here?
No.
I'm hyped.
Paul doesn't.
I mean, I'll probably try it, but it's not like
Right. Not your bag kind of thing, right?
So you're not a JRPG.
No, I don't tend to be. No, I don't tend to care for the play style, the Coolcat style.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's see.
But especially on Game Pass, I'll try anything, dude. That's the thing about Game Pass.
Yeah. Well, I've been enjoying Genshin Impact. I haven't played much of it, but that one's pretty cool. All righty. Well, if we're ready to move along, let's get into the next one, which we will be playing in a few short weeks. We're talking about The Ascent. Yes, it is coming to Game Pass on day one. It's that futuristic, top-down sort of studio 3D shooter / RPG kind of deal. It looks absolutely incredible. I can't wait to play it. So how do you guys, well, we just saw a little bit more of The Ascent. So I don't know. There isn't a lot to say. We've already kind of talked about it before, but any thoughts on The Ascent here, people?
No. I'm ready.
I'm just pumped. That's my genre that I play right there is that kind of stuff. So I'm all ready.
Mm-hmm.
I'm ready for it.
4-player co-op.
I like it. Terry is so pumped. By the time she gets to play it, her hair is going to be red.
I'm just happy that we're getting a lot of release dates, and I can't wait to play The Ascent. What can be said that hasn't already been said? Everybody's looking forward to this game.
Yeah. That's good. As long as it plays good and it's not Ascent, we're okay.
Yeah, no, I caught that at Newf. I caught that.
It's not scented ass.
Boy, I've been borderline gaming after dark today, eh? That's because there's no gaming after dark this week. But anyway, we'll get to that later.
There's no gaming after all at all this week?
No, we've decided. Well, Titan's got something coming up or something going on, and we decided between me and Mag. There's just so many podcasts this week. We don't want to be just like killing people this week with overkill. So we just decided, you know what? Let's let everybody else take the reins. We're going to be sick of hearing ourselves in a couple of days. So, all right. But anyway, Let's move on to the next one then. If we don't have any further thing else, this one will probably be short as well, unless you happen to be a fan of Age of Empires, announced for Xbox PC Game Pass October the 28th. So I know there are lots of loyal followers. It is not my bag either on these games. I've never played one, don't really care for them, but it is cool to see, and it looks pretty impressive graphically. So who's got thoughts on Age of Empires 4 coming to Xbox PC Game Pass?
I'll be playing it day one.
There you go. Paul's all in. See?
Yeah. I know it's a big game. I'm just glad it's there.
So RTS games are where I cut my PC gaming teeth. Where I sharpen my skills. And I love Age of Empires. It was so different because there were so many more management systems in Age of Empires. It's almost like a 4X or 5X game in real time all the time. There is no turns. And I can't wait for it. I can't wait to. It looks great. It looks phenomenal. All the 3D-ishness of it all, the armies. The fact that I saw a little upgrade, building upgrade animation going on when as civilization evolved. So yeah, I can't wait for it. Yeah, it's definitely up my alley for sure. Yes, Fastback. Lots of RTSs in the 90s. Command and Conquer. So Command and Conquer was the whole reason I bought a PC back in the day, only for that. And ever since I've been a fan of real-time RTS.
The great granddaddy of all RPG.
The daddy. That's right.
The daddy of all real-time strategies, RTS.
Yep. You bet. Like I said, it's a big franchise. It has a loyal following. So it is a big, it might not be big for everybody, but it was definitely a welcome part of the show for sure. And they'd been hinting at that for a long time. Shall we move along? Next one? Only got a couple more, guys, before we wrap this up here. A couple of big titles coming down the pipe here. The next one, which kind of caught us a little bit off guard today, and a lot of us thought it was a new trailer for Fable, but it was not. I'm talking about the Outer Worlds 2 from Obsidian. It is coming to Game Pass, and they have another one coming up, and they didn't announce a year on this one, though, did they?
No.
Just the Outer Worlds 2.
No,
but
just the title card.
They did announce Xbox exclusive.
Phil said it very clear. Xbox exclusive.
Yes,
and this is definitely the best narration out of any trailer I've ever seen. It was awesome.
Yes, it was.
It was hilarious.
It was a trailer basically making fun of a lot of other E3 trailers, which basically have no real gameplay to show. Don't that sort of stuff. So it was kind of funny. It was like making fun of itself, but teasing out a new game, and it's in the works. So obviously, the Outer Worlds did well enough that it's going to get a sequel. I think people who have played the first game are excited. I have the game and never tried it yet. It's still in my backlog.
I'm playing it right now. If you're wondering what I've been looking at, I've been playing it on my PC.
Fantastic. Awesome.
I beat that game in like 2 days. I was so into it. Like I was drawn into the Outer Worlds.
You did not do all the side missions.
That's why I say the game is
it has like 5 different endings, and one of them is to crash into the sun. And guess what I did?
Crashed into the sun. Way to go!
But I also got the good ending. I played it more than one time.
What I'm liking anything more than the trailer. It was hilarious. It was funny. It had some good spoofs on other games, but it can show you what that team can do with extra money and those visuals. Yeah, I know it's just all CG. If they can make a game that can look close to that trailer, I'm all in.
Yeah, I'm definitely all in.
It will look close to that trailer because if you played the first game, the first game looks sharp.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, the DLC, the first DLC for Outer Worlds 1 wasn't so great, but the second DLC by itself makes both of them worth it. Yeah, I mean, it could have been its own game.
Sure. All right, and our next 2 games that we're going to talk about probably the 2 most impressive looking games we saw at the show, arguably anyway, but definitely the type of games that show off what the Xbox Series consoles are capable of. And the first one we're going to talk about here is Flight Simulator. Yes, from Asobo. We know it's coming out here right away. I think it drops in a couple of weeks here. If I'm correct, it is coming to Game Pass day 1 for the Xbox Series consoles. and they not only showed off state-of-the-art visuals that are going to push these consoles very hard, but they also announced Top Gun Maverick expansion, which totally sold me. If I wasn't all in just from the flight simulator game itself, which I can't wait, just because, I mean, how can you not want to showcase that off in your house? Like, if you're going to play that game or buy it either which way, like, is that not the cool game? Like, when someone comes over and you run that for your friends or your family and they go, holy mackerel, like, that's the kind of stuff that catches people's attention, whether or not it's the most fun game in the world or not, because technically Classified is actually not even really a game, because there's no real purpose to it, I don't think, is it? You're just kind of flying around and stuff and learning how to fly. But it was just, this game blew me away. This is the kind of thing that leaves your jaw on the floor. I'm still trying to find it. And I have Top Gun expansion in here, which I'm super excited about the movie. I just tweeted that out like about 2 days ago, how stoked I am to see the new Maverick movie. Man, this one had me pumped. This was cool. How do you guys feel about seeing Flight Simulator again? Some of you guys have actually been playing it, I think, on your PC, so you have a good idea what to expect.
Oh, yeah. And then when they started showing the Top Gun stuff and the music hit, I was in a group chat with a bunch of our friends, and I said, yeah, it's Top Gun, it's Maverick. I said, yeah, because it looks incredible, so. And the game is even on my little PC that only has a 3 gig a video card. It plays decent. I mean, so and they've done a lot to optimize it for the Series X. I know they've talked about that. They've got the file sizes down and all that stuff. It looked amazing. I cannot wait to compare the two, actually. Yep.
So
that's it.
So the thing about Flight Simulator that I love is that you can go into the settings and make it as arcadey as you want. So Newf, you can fly straight dead into the ground and not die. And you can and then you can like hit a button and you put your plane 30,000 feet in the air and figure it out from there. I love it. Flight Simulator, to me, as you know, I have about 300 flight hours on it. So I love the game. And one of the biggest
real quick to give you an idea how long I've been playing Flight Simulator. The other day when they showed that old school Flight Simulator box on the shelf behind what's his name?
Yeah, the 1982.
I played that version.
Oh, hell. I wasn't even born back then, Paul. I'm in a lot of Flight Simulator forums because I'm trying to learn how to fly the games in full simulation, and the forums are real helpful. But one of the biggest asks from the Flight Simulator community is military planes. Everybody wants to fly some military planes, and you have add-ons in Flight Simulator, third-party add-ons that will load third-party, models of military planes. But the models are kind of hit or miss. Right. I'm going to call it right. Mostly miss. And so the fact that First Party is going to release their own military plane models with their own physics and everything. Oh man, this is the dream. This is the dream for Flight Simulator guys. So
give me the F-14 Tomcat, baby. That's my plane right there.
Yes.
That big beast.
That's right. I cannot wait to fly that beast. So yeah, I'm excited for it. Obviously,
I'm kind of interested to see how they're going to do it, because when I think of like Flight Simulator, I think of something that's a little bit more relaxing and chill. And then you think of like Top Gun, that's high action, fast. So like how are they going to put the two together? Because like for me personally, if I was going to think about putting Top Gun in anything, I would have opted to put it in an Ace Combat, because that's already that high paced, flight, flight sim kind of like game. So I just want to see how they make it work.
You're just going to fly down and buzz the towers. That's what's going to happen.
Back in the late 90s, early 2000s, somewhere in there, they did Combat Flight Simulator, which was based on the Flight Simulator engine, which was basically fighter planes and Flight Simulator. So yeah, they've done it before. Flight Simulator, you almost don't want to call it a game because it's not. It is an actual simulation to fly a plane. And the earlier games actually would walk you through flight school type stuff. They seem to have backed away from that with this version, which is kind of annoying, but I know why they did it, because hate to say it, Flight Sim played a lot into 9/11. The old ones did. But it's not really a game per se.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want anybody to get the wrong idea for this. They're going to put the military plane in there as a plane you can fly, but don't think you're going to be doing missions.
Yeah.
Don't think you're going to be doing anything other than just flying the plane.
Yeah.
That's literally it.
Yep.
There's no game in Flight Simulator. Flying is the game.
I mean, just the fact that you can fly anywhere in the world and see accurate, geographical topography and stuff, that's impressive in itself. I mean, I can't. The first place I want to do is I want to fly back to my home province and like fly over places that I know and recognize. Like that to me, that's worth the price of admission alone,
And the add-ons they've done, like for Japan and other areas, to make it look ultra realistic, those are amazing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, like technology, man, is amazing.
Yeah, I'm just excited to put it on my Xbox, but I don't know. I have a lot of add-ons on my PC. I might just stick to PC.
Well, and if your PC can handle it, yeah, and plus, hopefully the flight stick will be enabled on the Xbox. It should be.
Yeah. Oh, this is the actually my flight stick is the Xbox T-Flight 1. It has the Xbox logo right on it.
Right.
So it is an Xbox flight stick. I got this one from GameStop for $80, $70.
Well, you paid less for yours than I did for mine.
Right.
But yeah, I got I have the same stick.
Yeah, so I cannot wait.
Gotcha.
But it has to be, even though it works with the Xbox games, it has to be activated within the game itself.
Absolutely, yes.
That's always been the one drawback.
Yeah. Any further thoughts on Flight Simulator?
It looks great.
Get to the Mile High Club, guys.
Never trust a pilot who likes Coke. They're literally flying high.
Oh.
That's
like every pilot.
What's up with Newf and the terrible jokes today? Oh man, make sure you fly over Cape Breton and visit Cape of Grant. Yes, I will. I will have to do that. I'll say hello to you from the top of the world there. Good stuff. All right, so if we're ready to move on, we got 2 more games before we wrap it up and get out of here. The next one was definitely, outside of perhaps Halo, this might have been one of the games of the show. This game had everybody in the podcast I was on. Our jaws were on the floor. It was kind of like one of those holy smokes moments, for the lack of better words here, where you're just like, wow, man, Playground Games is absolutely killing it. We talk about the upper echelon of developers. Well, my Lord, these guys have been killing it now at Forza Horizon and Forza Horizon 5, coming to you from Mexico. Unbelievable. The stuff they're doing with this next generation racer is off the charts. And if anybody downplays this, it's one of the 2 things. Either you just don't like racing games, or you're just a biased fanboy, plain and simple, because this game should and could sell consoles. This is how good this thing looks. Unbelievable, man. Like, I'm still blown away. I can't wait to go back and watch this trailer in high fidelity.
I watched it 5 times.
My Lord, like the texture quality, the detail, the amount of stuff on the screen, it was dude, this blew me away. This is a highlight reel. I can't wait. And the stuff that you can create your own courses and and visiting places in Mexico and seeing, like, you get to take pictures like of those special, like, what do you call them? I don't know. I'm looking for the word.
Are you talking about murals?
Yeah, the murals and different landmarks and different things, and racing through that sandstorm, and oh man, like I could go on all day, but I'm gonna let you guys take it away. I'm super excited, man.
Something tells me one of the missions is gonna be to like take pictures of the murals and stuff for the certain.
That is one of the missions.
Yeah, it has like a story mode now or something, right?
Yes, they do have a campaign mode, which I really did get excited about. Campaign mode. Everybody knows there's always a car in Forza, so we have it. It's the new Mercedes AMG. It's a Forza Horizon style version, but that was pretty cool. But just the visuals on this game are ridiculous. If you hadn't gone back and seen it in 4K yet, you have not seen it in its totality, how it's really meant to be seen. This thing looks incredible. This is what we needed to showcase. It wasn't as campy as some of the other Forzas are when they do their trailers. So the first couple of seconds, I thought Horizon was going to be in Mexico, and I was thinking it was Motorsport for a second. This game looks ridiculous. I know a lot of people say Gran Turismo is the best and top dog, but I think Playground and Turn 10 has taken that title a couple of years ago. But
I was gonna say no way Gran Turismo.
yeah, we're definitely going to have to see what they come out with soon and do some comparisons, because these people are just knocking it out of the park. The cars, the mechanics. When they were showing how you could talk to your friends, they switched up um, the ability and be able to talk to the people more, because you're racing the car and you're sitting here trying to hit your direct pad to do this and do that. The draw distances look greater. A lot of times when you're sitting playing these games, you're moving so fast, you're getting 150, 200 miles an hour. You start getting a lot of pop in. And when you're playing with the One X or the One, and even when you're with the Series X on this last one, and the pop in was, I mean, extremely way down. You had to sit there and stare for it, what they showcased today. So I love the scenery. I love the location that they have. I'm ready to go. This game looks amazing.
Go ahead, people, take it away. Who's
All right,
excited? Yeah, I think the whole panel's excited.
Like, I'm the racing person, right? Like, that's pretty much the most thing I play outside of like my RPGs. Is I'm always doing all the racing games, and yeah, when it comes to the quality for like the realism, nobody can compete when it comes to the Forza Horizon and even Motorsport. They have the best realism out there for games, and the only thing I can say for Gran Turismo is that the only title they can take is they're the best racing game for PlayStation, because they don't have anything else really. So that's what they have. They have Turismo, so that's that. But no, it doesn't compare to Forza at all. You know, and they're not even the same genre really, because Turismo is more simulation, whereas Forza is a little bit more on the arcade style. The vistas, it was so realistic. You couldn't. You thought you were actually there. You know what I mean? You could see the wind blowing through the trees, and it was just so well done, so beautiful. They always hit it out on that. You could see like the dust. You know, when the cars would drive by, the dust would go right. You know, follow them and stuff like that. It's, you know, all the details were there.
And pinatas.
Yeah, the pinatas.
The pinatas, yeah.
You know, these games always have that, whether you have to run over barrels or crates or whatever. Now they're doing pinatas, but you know, one of the things that I was actually kind of, you know, thought was a nice little thing is when they showed the mural, they actually spoke about the artists and gave them credit. They could have thrown any generic graffiti on a wall, but they went ahead and they made sure to, you know, give respect to an artist that, you know, had stuff on, you know. So that was right. Really nice for them to do that. And you know that artist was, you know, grinning ear to ear, you know, getting their name, you know, set on like the big stage, and you know, millions of people heard his name. So you know, that's a big thing, you know. So something like that was pretty amazing.
Yeah.
But you know, so yeah, no, it's going to be an impressive game. It's going to be on Game Pass, and I'm looking forward to playing it because I love my racing games. So I'm looking forward to it.
Absolutely.
Well,
yeah, no. I was telling Newf when it was just me and him that as soon as I saw the Vista, I recognized the location because I've seen it with my own eyes. And, you know, I love that they put a lot of these actual locations in Mexico and kind of stitched them together for the world map. It's not like they made up cities. These are real cities, real landmarks and stuff that they put in there. And that's important to me. You know, the fact that the announcer is Latin, you know, I love that. Like Terry said, the artist, a Latin artist, you know, is there. And, you know, being Mexican-American, you don't know how important inclusion is until you're included almost. Like this. Young me would have never seen this. I'm glad that I'm alive to see this and to see that Mexico is going to be this beautiful living desert, living landscape that it really is. You know, the Mexican Yucatan Peninsula is one of the most vibrant places you've ever been in your life. And to drive through it, I might just have to fly over in real life, not in Flight Simulator, fly over and go look at it one more time. And I love Forza Horizon. I haven't been into racing for a long time until I got into Forza Horizon, and then I loaded up Motorsport, and both games look beautiful. The Forza Tech engine is really something, and Playground Games, they're masters at this, and I'm already in. I'm all the way in. Car Pass, I'm in. DLC, I'm in. This is the racing game for me. That includes me.
And am I wrong to say that I don't think this game is focused around just festivals anymore?
No. I think everybody wants their location. Like,
well, even when they did do the festivals, when they had it in Britain and stuff, the map was pretty much correct. I mean, they go to great pains to go to the area, take pictures of the area, take video footage of the area, and lay it out correctly. They don't make stuff up.
And they even mentioned that.
Yeah, the festival is still part of it. It's just it's not like it was like back in Horizon 2, when it was very linear and you just did the festival and then became champion and that was it. They definitely expanded on it. But yeah, but the festival's still there.
The DLC, if you get the DLC, the festival is a very small part of it. And the great part of stuff like this, Axel, is you can just play the game, and since it's in Game Pass, you can get the all-out $100-something edition, maybe about a month or two down the road, and get it for like $45-50 because you're on Game Pass.
Or like Forza Horizon 4, it's on Game Pass. I haven't paid for it, but I did buy the Lego add-on. I love the Lego add-on, by the way. The Lego add-on is incredible. It was all of $15. And it's a full-blown game by itself, actually. I mean, it's a large add-on.
It is.
Absolutely.
And before the one previous to that, they had the Hot Wheels add-on. I can't wait to see what they're going to do with this one.
Nice.
Yes.
He's
Eternal, you got anything?
Shaddai.
That's a genre that I pretty much don't touch because I'm not too much of a fan of driving. I'm really not. But I did try the previous one 4 just to give it a try, but that's not in my bag. But I could tell you something. When I saw that, I have noticed that they add a new feature into that game. I think they're not going to use Drivatar. I think it's called Links now. And I noticed that. I think it's something I may be wrong on this one, but it's something got to do with, I don't know if it was getting together to do some type of missions, or it was something. I know they were saying like, okay, this is called Links, this is what we're gonna do and all that. I'm like, okay, so that means they're not gonna use Drivatar. But
no, that doesn't necessarily mean that.
I think they're still going to use Drivatar.
The idea was when you were online, every other car you saw on that map with you was also an online person.
No, that's why I was gonna say I gotta rewatch it again. I know they say something about links, and I'm like, okay, that's a new feature that it wasn't in the past of past Horizons.
That doesn't necessarily mean they're not going to use Drivatars too.
Oh no. That I know what you're saying, but that's why I was saying that I wanted to rewatch it again.
I think it's tied more into with campaign mode and playing together with a couple of friends that has nothing to do. Your Drivatars are usually more when you're playing by yourself and they having cars that like, oh, I'm friends with all you guys in on the panel. When I'm driving, I'll see your guys' names on the panel, and they kind of closely resemble how you're driving.
Right.
That's different from when you're playing together online. The links is more when you're like online co-op stuff.
Okay, that's what I wanted to know because I, like I said, when I heard that, I'm like, wait a minute, this is something new that I never heard from any other Horizon. So that's why I wanted to rewatch that video again and
that might explain why the P3 Drivatar always drives me off the road. But still is vicious, I'll tell you that.
but I play the previous Horizon, but when it comes to driving sim like that, arcadey or not, it's not on my bag. I try my best, but you know,
that's why I'm only do it with the. I know I'm going to lose every race, but I have fun with my friends.
Yeah, no, that is actually true. And plus, the only friend that I have when I play those are the railings, because that's the most that I hate the most. So, so those are the only closest friend that I have, the rails.
Well, and interesting enough as well, Forza Horizon 5 comes to Xbox on November the 9th. It's in Game Pass, obviously, day and date.
The standard edition.
Yeah, and they will have apparently they're having a battle royale mode too, isn't it? With cars.
I might have missed that.
Yeah,
one.
they do have an elimination mode. The Eliminator is what it's called.
Oh, the Eliminator. Yeah.
Eliminator.
Mm-hmm.
And a track creator as well, so you'll be able to create your own stuff in this one. As far as I know.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's very impressive again. So we always said, I think after Forza 4, the question was, how does Playground raise the bar on a game that set the bar almost impossibly high? Like it's near perfection for racing. Well, my Lord, they just somehow these wizards keep doing it. It's insane. I think we're all safe to say outside of Shaddai that at least 5 of the 6 of us are super excited for Forza to be racing in November. But hey, man, that's all good. That's what it's all about. That's why I love this panel, because there's a lot of diverse opinions here. There's a lot of everybody here has a different flair, different taste for games. And I love seeing that, that's great. It's all about options, and Xbox gave into us. So let's move along to the final game that was shown off at the show. This one was a bit of a surprise. I mean, not only I don't think anybody really expected anything from Arcane, but to kind of close out the show with this game was also a surprise. And it is called Redfall from Arcane, which looks like a cooperative first-person shooter where you're going up against some kind of weird creatures or vampires or some darn thing like that. An eclectic case of characters, indeed. How does people feel about Redfall? Anybody? Did that one get anybody's blood pumping? All right, Paul, your hands up. You go for it, man.
I was totally drawn into it. Plus, it's not only co-op. They did say you could do a single player if you chose to, which automatically drew me in. That's what I want. I want that choice. I want that option.
Mm-hmm.
So I am all psyched for that. Boy, when they first unveiled that it was vampires they were dealing with, this is the vampire game they've been talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it looked really cool. And the heat miser main vampire thing that they were going against.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to that big time, big time.
And anything stand out to anybody else? Anything that really caught your attention with this game? Do you think it's going to be a hit in the making, or perhaps I'm not really sure? And do you think it's going to have a full-fledged campaign, or just kind of like little bits and pieces of like cooperative stuff, kind of like they did with Left 4 Dead? Not really a cohesive story.
I think this is the one that they were talking about. This is called Project Omen, because they were trying to say that it was vampires. Yeah. So I think they are trying to go by somewhat the same route as Back 4 Blood. Mm-hmm. So, but this one is a little bit different. But it's an interesting game. Interesting concept, because we get to use powers, not like Back 4 Blood that is pretty much shooting and grenade. This one uses powers to pretty much defeat vampires from crossbows and all that. I'm not speaking correctly today for some reason, but
it's your cold.
Pretty much, I guess. But I got pumped. I'm like, I want to see this. I want to see the gameplay other than the CGI that we saw. But I guess in this one, I want to try it. I really am. I want to see what they're going to show for. Probably we will be, we might get surprised, and Gamescom they actually show gameplay. But I think this is what Project Omen was actually during these days for the rumors.
I thought it looked I thought it looked really, really good and impressive. The character design is right on, and something that you need to point out is they did a really good job with representation. For my friend Danny, he always likes to call it black dude physics. He always says that that's always done poorly in games, especially when it comes to hairstyles. They always make it look so crummy in games.
Mm-hmm.
This one looks beautiful. Like the woman's hair was phenomenal. Like she was stunning. She was stunning. And then they had that evil vampire chick who was really tall, and her dreads looked amazing. Like they did a really, really good job properly representing these characters. So that's amazing. Gameplay wise, since we haven't seen it, it does look like it's going to be, along the same lines as Left 4 Dead, only with vampires instead of zombies. For me, gameplay wise, that doesn't appeal to me. I don't like those kind of games, but I will say that it does.
But again, I'm saying they said
it does look amazing
to do it. So even though we're seeing all 4 characters, I wonder how that's going to play out as a single player.
Correct.
Remember things like Left 4 Dead. There's no single player mode in Left 4 Dead or Back 4 Blood.
Yeah, but if you're just playing by yourself and you're doing the same thing with waves, it's going to be, it's not going to be.
It looks like a story. It doesn't look like that to me. It looks like an actual.
Well, we have to wait and see. We have to wait and see. But if it does play like Left 4 Dead, then it's going to be a pass. But I do still, I'm pleased to see how they did the character design. They did a really good job with it, and hopefully that goes into the actual gameplay, not just the cinematography.
Mm-hmm. Didn't finish the manscaping from earlier.
So Arcane Studios here, they made the Dishonored game, which is one of the best use of power games I've ever played. If you haven't played Dishonored, you should. Now I don't know if Arcane Austin did it themselves, but I know Arcane Studios made it.
Mm-hmm. I think it is Austin. I think it is Austin.
It could be. Like I said, I'm not sure. But the fact that you get to use powers in this game, and that Arcane just has this reputation of making some of the best use of power games I've ever played, I'm excited to try it. And if it's anything like Dishonored and Dishonored 2, I'm just going to leave amazed. I think Arcane is one of those studios that's underappreciated because Dishonored, I feel, was underappreciated. Prey, the newer Prey, was underappreciated. Everybody's on board for Deathloop, but this one should also be on your radar. I can't wait to see more of it, of how it plays. I just know that this studio is primarily a first-person shooter studio, so we'll see how that plays out. But yeah, what can be said that there's not much that we can say here to it because we didn't really get to see it. But vampires, killing some vampires, I get to go full blade on these guys with power. Who doesn't like killing vampires?
Yes.
So yeah, I can't wait for it.
Like I said, I thought the game looked cool. Wouldn't have been my exact choice for perhaps closing the show, but it was good to see something new from one of the studios that we've kind of wondered about. A lot of us were thinking maybe we'd see something from Compulsion, but that wasn't to be. So, but overall,
to be real, that's not how they closed the show. They made one more final reveal.
Yeah, they did. That's absolutely right. And it was probably the coolest reveal of the show. How about the world's most powerful Xbox mini fridge? That's right, coming this November. So
it has velocity architecture. Did you see that?
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, that was amazing. That's great. And I don't know if you guys watched if you watched the pre-show before the E3 event, it was obviously you saw the executives, Phil, Aaron, Sarah, who else was there? What's her name? Bonnie Ross, wasn't it? And all them, and they were all talking. Yep. And was it that right before the end, something about Phil makes a jab at Greenberg? He's like, "Yeah, these things got to be ready, or something. It's on you, or something, Aaron."
Yeah. Well, yeah, because they got the customer question about it, so that's when he said, "These things better be ready."
Yeah, these things better be ready. This is on you, Aaron. And I'm thinking to myself, well, Aaron, there goes your bonus for this year. It's coming out of your pocket. You got to make these things. It's pretty cool, man. I think that was a neat little thing. That's just like a little tidbit, not a game, but it's still kind of a cool way to close. I mean, who the hell on this panel would not love an Xbox mini fridge?
Thank you. Yeah.
I already told my wife that's what I want for my Christmas present.
Yes.
I already told her.
On my list. Hands up.
They did not show the price, Andy. They did not give the price.
Price is irrelevant. It's on my list.
Yes.
It's on
I'm
my
getting
list
one.
too.
I've $300. I'm getting a damn mini fridge.
I mean,
That's so
it's going to be
cool.
the world's most powerful mini fridge with velocity architecture, 4K ray tracing.
12 teraflops.
That's right.
That's gonna
12
be part of my streaming setup.
12 Coolcat, you know.
Oh,
And guess where it's going? It's going to
great.
go right here. I might not even
Mhm.
plug it in. It's just going to go right here somewhere. I already know
Yeah.
it.
All right, so neat little way to end the show. So overall, guys, let's go around the circle. I'll go last on this one, and I'm gonna start, and we'll go opposite of kind of the way we came in. And I'm gonna start with Scrub Nerds. Kind of just give us your overall take on the show. It's up to you if you want to give it a rating or not. Sometimes ratings are very non-representative, but how would you rate the show overall? Your most impressive moments, perhaps one of your most disappointing things, maybe something you did. I mean, basically, this is the thing that, and just before we get to that, this is the thing that drives me nuts: is too many people out there base their rating on a show about stuff they didn't see. You should be basing the show on what you saw, not stuff you didn't see. Right? Like, am I right or am I wrong in that?
I think you want to base the show basically off of what you see, but if you are expecting, or there's room, I can see why you could say, "Oh, I didn't see this," and it'd be the same thing if you watched a Marvel Avengers movie, and they didn't have Iron Man in there. You're gonna be kind of mad that, oh man, we went a whole movie and didn't have Iron Man, and it's the Avengers. So yeah, you'll be disappointed, but it can still be a great movie. So that's kind of how I look at it. Based on what I saw, I was disappointed watching the regular stream, because I know it's hard to be able to get that with everybody eyes on it for the stream to look good at 1080, but you could see what was highlighted was looking real well, and some of it, but you don't get the true real feeling, which I tell everybody, if you can, go watch the 4K replay. It gives you a whole better feeling on these games. And if you hadn't, when you hear somebody say, "Oh, the visuals are awesome," you might say, "Well, that didn't look too hot to me." Please go watch the 4K replay. And I know I said that earlier in the week on Twitter. Do not judge it unless you see this 4K the replay. When I saw Forza, that was my number 2 on my list of. I was definitely impressed. Halo, of course, was number 1. I think the only thing that I could say that I was like, oh wow, I wish they would have had that. You know, there were some games that, like the Gunk, we know it's coming out, but we didn't see it. I know there were other games, like there's no sense to showing Fable unless they have gameplay. If they don't have gameplay, there's no sense for us to watch the same CG trailer or another CG trailer, because who were we ragging on doing that before for 2 and 3 years in a row? Was Sony was doing that on their E3s. Just keep showing us the same CGI trailer for a game 3 years in a row. We don't want that. So I don't have no problem. I know some people are like, they didn't have this in it. Well, they did say before we weren't going to have this one. This one's not going to be there. So that helped with the expectations. But overall, from what I saw, there was not a whole bunch of talking. You didn't have a whole gang of indie spotlight. I'm glad they did that ahead of time. You went game after game, talking heads of studios and stuff. They were more toward the beginning. They were very short and concise. This thing was an hour and a half, and I was not bored. So one of my favorites, period. I know 2018 was with all these studios and everybody, oh my God. And another one, I think this one was more concise and more well produced. So this would be one of my favorites. I'd give it a 9, maybe 9.5 out of 10 if we're gonna rate it. Another thing I will say is, when you rewatch it, stop the show at 114. The games that we saw, plus the ones that we didn't see that were listed for 21, there's almost from June or July almost to the end of the year, there's almost a new game coming out every 2 weeks. And some of them you're getting in 1 month, 3 every week. You're getting one every week, back to back to back. So Newf, we're gonna have. I mean, we can go fund you and get you a Game Pass because you're gonna spend a lot more money buying all of these individually on yourself. I'm just saying, you can still go buy the physical later, but you might want to get that Game Pass.
Yeah, I'm just might. All right.
There's a lot of games coming this year, guys. So be excited.
He just summed it up in the last sentence. A lot of games coming. Indeed. Cerebral Paul, how did you feel about the show overall? What were your highlights and perhaps something maybe you didn't like so much, and perhaps a rating if you want to toss one out there?
There's nothing I didn't like about it. I mean, just because I'm not interested in a game they're showing doesn't mean I don't like it. The slowest parts for me were probably talking about ESO and Fallout 76, just because. Okay, great. More add-ons, yay. But again, that's just me. But that was probably the slowest part of the game. I'm not in the Slime Rancher, but I know a lot of people who are, so awesome. I just thought it looked good. I'm of the type that knowing that I'm going to go in, that I'm not going to be able to see it in 4K, I don't judge and go, oh, that looks like crap. What we saw, even in 1080p, looked incredible.
Yeah.
And especially me on my little old monitor that I was watching it on because I was in a group at the time. And so I'm very psyched for everything we're seeing. Phil stuck to what he said. He said we're going to only show stuff that's close to being released. The farthest we got out was 2023, and that was the second game in that set of 2.
Yeah,
I think that's
right.
the only one that went out.
The only one. Yep.
Everything else was 2020, 2021 or 2022 or closer. So hey, perfect. I just think it was a winner all the way around. I really do.
Nice. Do you want to give it a rating, or would you rather stay away from the number?
I would. If I were to give it a rating, I would say given a 9.5, 9.5.
Wow.
There were no down parts for me.
Wow, nice. Very nice.
For 90 minutes, it kept me interested. Unlike other things that have taken that long, where I'm like, "Hey, you can stop talking now. Next game, come on, next game."
Well, I think our next panel member may go a little bit lower, based on what we've heard from him so far today's show. Eternal Shaddai. Again, sum up to your show in your words, man. What did you like? Things you kind of didn't like, and how would you rate it overall?
Okay. What did I like? Honestly, the biggest surprise that Pirates of the Caribbean on Sea of Thieves. That was something, that's a really huge collaboration between two biggest juggernauts, one from the software and one from the entertainment. That's a really big plus right there. Because, I have to say it like this, since Sea of Thieves was launched and it was so bare, and now for a lot of people it was like, yo, we have to wait 1 or 2 years so content could be there instead of being on day one. But now that I see this, it makes more sense to have a collaboration with Disney and Pirates of the Caribbean. So for me personally, it was actually a shocker. It was a really, really good shocker. On top of that, what else it got me surprised? Like I said, Stalker 2 was finally I get to see a little bit more of a gameplay. Like I said earlier, I like Metro. It was really interesting. I saw Stalker 2. It had the same vibe. It really looks really, really nice on the game. Never played Stalker. I want to give it a try. The same thing with Atomic Heart, like we talked earlier, and Replace. Those are a lot of shockers to me. Even though for a lot of people, it's like, yeah, it's something small. It's not like they like to call it a system seller. The down part for my part is because this is how I follow. I follow for what they announced last year. I'm probably a little bit prior to that. I go for that. Sometimes, yes. Sometimes I go like, okay, we might see the gameplay of Hellblade 2. That didn't happen. Sometimes I go. Sometimes I think I'm like, okay, the protagonist of Hellblade, she actually said it in a video that due to the pandemic, now they went back to pretty much doing mocap. So that means we're not going to be able to see it probably until next year. a lot of people is trying to, they're looking for the big guns. Where's Hellblade? Where is Avowed? Where's all that? I feel somewhat the same way like that. And like, where is it? Even the big one, which we haven't heard anything from Compulsion Game. We haven't heard it. We haven't heard anything. That's why sometimes we hype. Sometimes E3 they announce it 2 years prior, but sometimes we actually wait for that at this moment and they don't show it. Like I know you guys said we need a variety. That's why it's called a variety, because there's not only we cannot focus on something on hardcore. It got to be this one, it got to be that one. But what about the kids? What about that one? Sometimes I feel that Xbox, that's why Xbox have so many shows, that it could show like, okay, E3 is meant for those first party, and Slime Rancher should have been probably for Larry Herb podcast or the Fan Fest and all that. That's how I feel. That's how I feel. That's why it's E3 meant to be. But another shocker, Outer Worlds 2. We knew that it was coming, but yes, for me as an overall, I give it an 8.
That's solid.
That's pretty good.
That's an 8, because there's a lot of things that. Because an 8, because honestly, from Starfield to finishing with, I'm not gonna say Redfall because it's a new thing I need to see, but from that one to finish Outer Worlds and Forza Horizon 5, that's a way to finish.
And the mini fridge.
And a mini fridge. So
all right,
for me, it's an 8.
Nice, very good. Coolcat Terri, how would you sum up the show? What did you like best? Perhaps something you didn't like, and how would you score it?
Let's see here. I was definitely impressed, pretty much from start to finish, with the show. They did a really great job. I loved the pacing of it. It was a lot of back-to-back videos. They had some pauses in between where they had people talk, but they kept it short, sweet, and to the point, and got right back into showing us the videos. So very, very pleased with that. When it comes to like the games and for like a downside, I mean, there's only a couple that didn't interest me, and that doesn't mean that they're bad games. They're just not my thing. So like Among Us, Fallout 76, and like Battlefield, those are games that I'm not getting. So I was kind of disinterested when they were showing that stuff. But overall, it was a really, really good show. They had a lot of great stuff. Very, very pleased with it. I try to keep it short and sweet here. For me, I rated it like a 9 out of 10. Just because they had a great pacing and it was all really, really good stuff. And Game Pass, they had over I think 27 games or so that were coming out guaranteed for Game Pass. So that's definitely gonna help you guys save for your wallet, especially when you get into that holiday season. You saved a lot of money through the whole year as these games come out. It'll be easier for you in the holiday season knowing that you didn't have to spend $100+ each month for every game. You know what I mean? So this is great.
Absolutely.
All right. Yeah, it's my turn now. All right. I might be the biggest fanboy here with it,
did you give it a score? Sorry, Terri, did you give it a score? No.
Yeah, I said 9 out of 10.
Oh, no, sorry. I didn't catch that. All right. 9 out of 10 from Terri. So it's a very solid score. So go ahead, Axel. Sorry to cut you out there.
It's all right. No. So I've only been watching E3 for about 5 years or so. I think my first one was 2018, and I rewatched the 2017 before it. So I haven't been too much into the live presentations of E3. I've always just caught the trailers when they came out later. And to me, 2018 was the best live show I caught. And then 2019 came around, and we were expecting this, we were expecting that, and nothing. And then last year happened, COVID happened, where they just did the third party show and then the first party show, and it was a little underwhelming as a whole. But what I loved the most about this E3 presentation was dates or launch windows. Since 2018, we haven't had so many dates and launch windows put up on screen. It's always been like, come in when it's ready, or oh, it's an announcement trailer and whatever, right? And it just goes to show you just how much they've been planning this, that now they got a rhythm of work. They are starting to get into that work from home rhythm of where they're going to put things. And there were so many games. Like I remember, I think it was 2019 that Xbox had over 50 games shown. And I can't tell you more than maybe 10. This time they have only about 30 games, and I loved almost every single one of them, with the exception of like one or two. Whether I'm interested in the game or not, the trailers were good. Whether I'm going to buy them or not, the trailers were amazing, and the presentation was great. The pacing was amazing. The little monologues that Xbox executives gave were great. And they opened up with God Howard and Sarah Bond, and they closed with Phil Spencer. And Phil Spencer acknowledged all the games that weren't there: Fable, Avowed, all that other good stuff. So we know it. He knows that they didn't give it to us, but he let us know, hey, we're working on it. But most importantly, and to me, which was really important, was the very first trailer came out and the word exclusive was out. They got rid of everything right then and there. Every question was answered. I have less questions about about what was shown on this E3 than I've had in any E3.
Yes.
Yeah. That has been shown, which leads me to have more hype, which leads me to have more excitement. Like when this E3 was over, I was like, oh man, that was so great, man. I don't smoke, but I need a cigarette. That's how great it was. So this is by far the best E3 I've ever seen Xbox put on, and really the best E3 anybody's put on. This is the best one, and for me, it's a solid 10. Wow. I got to see Halo multiplayer. I got to see, Sea of Thieves. I'm telling you, like end-to-end smile. My cheeks probably are still hurting from that, because that's what we've always wanted. I got surprised by some things. And, the Mexico, the way they presented it and how much detail they put into it was great. I just can't wait. Yeah. I just can't wait for it.
Wow, man, this is top ratings coming out here today. Everybody's scoring very, very high, guys. And I don't think that's just an overhyped thing. I think everybody's being very truthful and honest about what we saw today. And I'll close out the show before we get out to the outros. I can't believe, man, we're at over 3.5 hours on this show. This is our longest podcast to date. I knew this one would probably go long. I said beforehand, perhaps we try to get this under 2 hours. Boy, was that a foolish expectation. I mean, when you got 30 odd games, and 6 panel members, I should have known that was going to be near impossible unless we basically kept everything at about 30 seconds apiece. But I'll try to sum it up real quick.
And we got 27 people in the chat still. So
we had an amazing turnout, far better than I could have expected. So thanks to the chat.
Thank
you guys are
Sure.
amazing. To spend your time here with us when everybody on the planet is doing a podcast right now. That means the world to us, and we know the names who are in here. And we'll give you a shout out again before we close the show. But I'm just going to say I was very impressed and I'll tell you why. Because, when you look at the last few years and when we sit down and we stop, when we do these reviews, we talk about the things like, and clearly a lot of times we remember the stuff they do wrong as opposed to the stuff they do right. And one of the things we've always talked about is too much jargon, too much filler, too much downtime, too long on this, not enough time on that, so on and so forth, more gameplay, more stuff. They basically checked off the boxes today. We got 30 games basically shown, 27 of the games today coming to Game Pass. So Game Pass value just skyrocketed through the roof. If you weren't convinced before, you should be now. I just did the math. Up here in Canada, let's just say if theoretically I wanted to buy 27 of those games, it would cost me $2,160 Canadian to buy those 27 games. Guess how much I can play them all for on Game Pass? $192 Canadian. 192 for a year subscription. That's of course the ultimate pass, right? A little bit less if I just go with the Game Pass itself. That, my friends, that's a no-brainer. That's like a lot of savings. And that, like I said, with so many games coming and all coming within a short period of time, Game Pass is not only going to save your money in the wallet, but it's going to allow you to play a lot more games than you would ever been able to play before. Our backlogs now just went from being long to somewhere out in space. So we'll see you on Mars by the time we get there. Unbelievable. So like that's the thing that hit today, guys, is that Game Pass, like, you know, they came out and said Game Pass is amazing. Here it is, without basically going Game Pass the whole show.
Yes.
Like nobody got up on stage and mentioned Game Pass. It was just big. The sign coming to Game Pass day one. Unbelievable, right? And that's the thing. Day one, not coming to Game Pass 3 months after launch. Day one. You want all these new games? Guess what? You can play them. So that was the big win for Microsoft today, is they really hit that home. Halo, I didn't think disappointed. Sure, it would have been nice to see a little bit more of the fleshed out campaign, but that may come down the road. As I said earlier, I don't think they want to leave a bad impression of the game, like say this early out, you know, like you still got a lot of months left, and of course we're still in COVID as well, which means a lot of the studios are just starting now to get back together. Crispy Bomb, what's up, brother? Glad you could be here. Casket Repair, what's going on? So that was good. So for me, the highlights simply, I mean, Halo, that's what I wanted to see. That's what we got to see. Multiplayer looked amazing. You know, loved seeing that thing with Master Chief. He looks cooler and better than ever. And so definitely that what they showed us got me intrigued in the story. And I guess that's the thing. Does it make you want to get in and find out what's going on and play that story? Absolutely. So Halo didn't disappoint. The Sea of Thieves thing was a big surprise to me. I did not see that coming. I expected maybe we might see something, but I didn't expect that content. That was really cool. Forza, well, what can you say? That they just nail it. That flew completely off the radar. That was amazing. And that game really looked like that's one of those showcase titles where you go, you know what? You want a Series X? That's why you're buying one right there, baby. That's impressive. That was hands down impressive. Best looking racing game on the planet, bar none. Like if it wasn't good before, it's just off the charts cool now. The flight simulator thing, very cool. Again, that content blew me away. Like, oh my god, like Flight Simulator looks already good, and now it's even better with Top Gun stuff. You know that like I said, there's a few like some of the smaller stuff as well. You know, I was thoroughly impressed with the Replace game that we talked about earlier as well. The Plague's Tale coming up there. Nobody really expected that today. That had to be one of the most pleasant surprises. You know, I think we all kind of suspected that maybe a Plague's Tale gets a sequel. Albert's here, is he? It's underwhelming. Oh, yeah. No Halo for campaign.
When he shows up. You can always
oh yeah. Well, you know, Albert, it's up to you, man. But you know, I don't think many Xbox fans were disappointed. We can't help what the Sony guys feel like. I mean, at least Xbox had a show, right? So there you go. That's something right there. I think they delivered on so many cases, man. Today it was just an amazing show. I think the things if I was disappointed was one. It was kind of weird that the way they, like I said, they ended the show with Redfall, which was kind of odd because it didn't seem like the kind of a game you'd really close this. Normally, when you're either opening or closing, it's usually your two biggest things of the day. It's an announcement, something. There was no studio announcement, which I don't think anybody's really surprised that they didn't, because I think they're going to do something, but they didn't want to take the luster off of the whole Bethesda thing. They wanted to, and there was a lot of stuff to get to today, so that would have kind of overshone everything else largely, and I don't think that's what Microsoft wanted. They're like, you know, we can save this for later in the year. We'll show you what's coming. We'll show you what we're doing. I mean, Asobo definitely could be there. Maybe it's Avalanche, you know, based on what we saw today. Maybe hint. So a little disappointing, but you can't, like I said, I can't grade them on what they didn't show there because nobody 100% expected that. It would have been a surprise.
And like we talked about, I think the reason they didn't really want to do we're also joining the studio is they opened with Todd Howard. That was the message.
That's right. Yeah, the message was clear today too. Exclusive. They got rid of that question that everybody's constantly for the last couple of months. Is this game going to be exclusive? Is it only on Xbox? Well, now we freaking know. They came out and made it very clear. Xbox exclusive, meaning Xbox and Xbox PC.
And Bethesda is Xbox. Todd Howard is Xbox.
Yes. Yes, and that might have been the other side of the disappointing part. Was normally when Bethesda does their own show, it's kind of like they kind of knock the doors off a little bit. Today it was kind of a bit subdued. Like we didn't really see much new. They like you said, we saw that Elder Scrolls online stuff. We saw a little bit about the Doom getting the 4K upgrades for series. What else was it there? You know, a few of those games, but we didn't really see anything new like come out, like a new Wolfenstein or a new anything that just came out and you kind of went, wow. Where in the past few years they've kind of blown our doors off with like a surprise, like, well, this game is coming out, and guess what? It's coming in a few months. Like they did that with Doom Eternal. They did that with the Fallout 4 was at that time. Was a Fallout 4? So here's Fallout 4 that's coming this November. But I think that stuff is coming. I think it was just a very mediate at launch. And I think if there's one thing we're known, like that one thing they definitely killed today is that the no games mantra can die. And anybody that just wants to keep running with Xbox got no games, you guys, honestly, you're trolls. You need to get your head checked because they're going to have games. And you know what? You can talk about the rest of this year all you want, but they're going to have enough to keep us busy. First of all, in around probably November, early December, you got Forza, right? Right there. That's a game worth buying in its own. November the 9th, which means Halo's probably got to fall before that or after that, right? So you're probably going to have Halo. So that's 2 big games to close the year, all within 30 odd days of each other, basically. Not to mention everything's coming out. And the other disappointing side of things, though, was probably like the fact, like games like Exomexa and Scorn and all of these other games that we kind of saw tidbits of, there was no mention. Crossfire,
which are coming out this year. Yeah,
they did actually have mention when they showed like this Game Pass thing. They had all the games listed. Scorn was actually on there, and it had a month, and it was listed for this year, I think. For sure.
Yeah,
but they had it on there, which was pretty cool.
Yeah, they did, and most people kind of missed that because, again, you're right. They did show a little screen with like a bunch of little games, little tiles, but they didn't really show. And like you said, somebody already said it in the panel. I don't know if it was Scrub or Shaddai, whoever said it, but you guys mentioned like easily they probably could have shown off another 20 games today, but the show would have ran extremely long.
Right.
We'd be here till next week talking about it. So I think they had to be very selective about what they showed. And Paul's pointed out that they showed everything today that they shown is basically either coming in 2021 or sometime 2022. Halo's going to come out this year. You mark my words, it's not slipping to 2022. Xbox cannot afford that. And I think the game is so far along now, it's just not happening, but they got to make sure that, they do this beta test and everything. So overall, guys, it was an amazing show. It was definitely one of the best in years because, like I said, they checked all the boxes. They kept the pacing great. I mean, 90 minutes flew by, and most people were like, wow, we're at the end of the freaking show. It was 30 minutes in, I think, before we even got to the Halo part or something like that. It was like, holy crap. Unbelievable. So they did a lot right today and very little wrong. So kudos to the team. Go figure, right, that they do a really good E3 on the year when essentially didn't have anybody to get ready for. So they've been listening to gamers. They've been definitely taking what we've been saying at heart because they showed it by doing things right and keeping the pacing. And they'll save the rest of that other lingo, like I said, for the Larry Herb stuff or whatever, where not the whole eyes are watching. So they had a great show today, guys. Overall, I give it a solid 9. There's very little else that could have impressed me. It's always cool to get the hardware bills. Like the years when they do the hardware, those are always exciting. But outside of that, man, this was a hell of a show. And this was a hell of a podcast today. So I'm going to let everybody get out of here. Big shout out to the chat, guys. I mean, almost 30 people here since this morning. You've been watching steadily. Chase has been here the whole show. Spider-Man. The list goes on. You guys are freaking phenomenal. But let's let everybody get out of here. We're going to be talking about this till our eyes roll up in our head and we turn blue. So there's going to be lots of podcasts, lots of reaction, both negative and positive. So tune out the crap you don't want to hear. Tune out the trolls. Just be excited. Great time to be excited for gaming, man. If you're not excited after today, check your heartbeat, sell your consoles, get the frig out of the gaming business because I don't know what you want, man, honestly. So let's have at her. So let's get people out of here. Scrubs, we will start with you, my man. Let people know where they can check out what's happening with your content and all so on and so forth. And I'll try to put the links up here on the screen unless you want to put them up yourself.
You can put the links up screen. It's a long one, but if you got them, fine. If not, we'll keep going. All right. You guys can find me on Twitter, ScrubNurse3. You can check me out. I do Twitch streaming, Scrub_Nurse. You can also find me on Facebook at the Bayou Elite. And eventually I'll start making it where I'll start streaming and I'll put it on YouTube. So I'll have a little YouTube channel with just me just playing my games like you see some of the other guys playing. Just whenever I'm on, I'll have a game and you can come check out, come in and say hello. But thank you guys for coming out. This has been a long show. I enjoyed it. I know you guys enjoyed it and are hyped for E3. So we're just gonna keep the party going for the rest of the week. Y'all remember, these games are for us to enjoy, not for us to fight over. So just enjoy your gaming. Thank you.
All right, great stuff from, like I said, from Scrub Nurse, who's been doing a lot of podcasting lately. Good to see him getting out there. And another guy who's ramped it up exponentially, Mr. Cerebral Paul. Paul, let people know where they can find you, sir, and I'll pop your stuff out right on the chat.
You can find me on Twitch and I can't talk now. Twitter at Cerebral Paul 1, Twitch at Cerebral Paul, YouTube at Cerebral Paul. And of course on Xbox itself, a Cerebral Paul 921. And that's about it. Of course, Wednesdays I'm with Stubbs and the gang usually. The fact they're doing a podcast right now that I was supposed to pop into, but we were still doing this one for 4 hours. But that's okay because it's all about the same thing. And all right, had a great show today, and it was a lot of fun. Thank you all for joining the chat. Hit me up anytime you want. And that's it. Thank you very much.
All right,
oh wait,
Spider-Man.
no. Well, we are doing Sundays with Good Morning Xbox. It's just not morning right now, so it's a little.
That's right.
In my head.
Yeah, we're long past that. We're almost having a good dinner Xbox or something.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez. All righty. Let's catch up with the man that we know is the eternal one, Mr. Shaddai. Let people know where they can check out anything you've got going on, social media or otherwise.
No problem. Today's E3 was very interesting. And you can find me at Twitter at Eternal Shaddai. You can find me also on Xbox at Eternal Shaddai. I'll be streaming on Twitch at ETE Shaddai. And also on Saturday, I'll be doing podcasts in Spanish on Facebook Gaming at Mundo de Mancos also. It was really entertaining tonight. And I'll see you Sunday if we get one on Sunday.
Absolutely. Yeah, we'll be back next Sunday. Don't worry.
No problem.
All righty. Let's see.
I forgot. Hashtag.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hashtag we are soldiers.
Oh, Lord.
Something that Axel wrote earlier.
Yeah. Let's catch up with Coolcat Terri. Terri, let people know where they can check out your awesome streams, all your indie content, everything else that you got going on.
All right, yes, you can catch me on Twitter. It's Coolcat_Terri, and I usually will post things that have to do with new indie games coming out. So you can always get. I usually like them. If it's something that really has my interest, I'll do a retweet. But you usually can get some fun stuff on your feed. And then you can catch me on Xbox, Instagram, Twitch, all those as just Coolcat Terri. On Twitch, I'm there throughout the week, Monday through Thursday, 6 p.m. to midnight Eastern time. Friday, I do an earlier show from 2 to 6. And then Saturdays, I have an evening one, usually goes between like 6 to 10, something like that. And I do a community night thing. So you can always catch me there. I do have my own podcast called Just a Glimpse. You can go ahead and check out that link. That's the official website that I have for it. And I talk about gaming stuff, movies, all kinds of things. I have rants on there too. If you guys want to hear me, get irate about something. So something for everybody. A lot of unpopular opinions as well. So it's a great place to go if you want to hear something that you don't hear from every single person on the internet already. You can definitely get a different twist on something. So go ahead and check it out.
Absolutely. Go check it out indeed. All right. Let's let our next panel member, Mr. Axel, let everybody know where they can catch up with what you got going on. You've been a busy man in a lot of regards and certainly putting up some content lately, which is good to see.
Yes, finally getting back into my groove here. Just real quick, just so everybody knows, this was posted by Phil Spencer. July, Flight Simulator. August, Psychonauts 2. October, Age of Empires 4. November, Forza 5, holiday Halo Infinite, which is basically December. So every month, the first party is firing on all cylinders, guys. That no Xbox has no games is dead. Thank God.
Yeah, and in 2022, it's going to be too many games to even count. My Lord.
Exactly.
Man, oh man. Unbelievable. Go check out Axel, guys.
Real quick.
Yeah, go ahead, man. Take it over.
Yeah, real quick. All right, so on YouTube and on Twitch, you can find me at Axel1324 Gaming. And then on Twitter and on Xbox, you can just find me at plain old Axel1324, as you see here on the stream. And that's it. I'll catch you guys next time.
Nice. Yes, and yeah, 1324. I don't know what's coming up with 1224. Or no, your gamer tag is 1224 though, right?
Well, no,
Did you have to change it?
1324.
Oh, I gotta switch that. Okay, his actual gamer tag is 1324. I put it wrong on the
13,
screen, but
it's all right.
it's all down in the chat, guys.
I see it. 1224. You did. You did me wrong, Newf. You did me dirty.
That was you. That was you the other week. There wasn't when you came into the screen or whatever. You had your.
I was
1323. Oh, 1323. Now I got you at 1224. There we go. Newf can't count. All right, there we go. Right. Great stuff, guys. Like this chat's been awesome. You know where to find me. Always in the gutter. As I said, I have all the links and descriptions to everybody's channel or social media in the bottom description of the podcast. This has been an amazing show. Like I said, just under now 4 hours. Unbelievable. Great show overall. Xbox, well done today. I think on behalf of all of Xbox fans and hopefully gamer fans overall, I think we can all give this one a big 2 thumbs up there, guys. Great job around. You guys should be proud of yourselves. You're going to hear a lot of talk about this. You're going to hear a lot of positivity, but you're going to hear some negative stuff. So again, it's up to you to filter out, the good from the bad and the legitimate people from the ones who are just trying to run this stuff for clout. So, but a lot of stuff coming, a lot of great games, man. I'm super excited. Good time to be an Xbox fan if you're invested in a new console. Biggest thing is we hope that everybody can get a console. We hope that come November, it's not easier to get an Xbox fridge than it is to get a console. Okay.
Yeah.
So, and hopefully everybody gets a fridge. I know I'll definitely want to pre-order one if I can. Hopefully the stores are going to sell them or EBs. I don't know who will sell them. Maybe you just get one at Walmart. I don't know. But anyway,
or it may be online only, probably. I would
maybe, yeah, but I definitely got to get one. So cool stuff. Anyway, guys, have yourself a great day, great week, all that stuff. On behalf of everyone here at Good Morning Xbox, which turned into Good Afternoon and almost Good Evening Xbox. Thank you for being here with us. You guys are amazing. Too many people to shout out right now. I'll be here for another hour, but you know who you are. What's going on, brother? You guys are the best, man. So thanks again for joining us. As far as me and my podcast, there will be no gaming after dark this Tuesday because of so much podcast this week. We just decided it might be better that we just take the night, let everybody relax, and we'll be back next Sunday. When we come back on next Sunday's Good Morning Xbox, we'll just kind of recap this one, maybe just a little, but we're probably going to talk about the other shows that happen throughout the week and give you our take on that as well. So we will be back in the same time slot next Sunday, which is 9 Eastern on Good Morning Xbox. Until then, like I said, guys, take care of yourself, have fun, and game on.
Yeah. Peace.